I'm pretending to cultivate immortality in kindergarten. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426 The Final Proposal. At 9 o'clock in the evening, if it were in the city, the lights would definitely be bright and the roads would be busy. The neon lights on the street were as bright as in the daytime. But in the south, even in a small village not far from the town, the streets seemed to be completely dark after 9 o'clock. Except for the lights of each household, the village was no longer so bright, and the high mountains in the distance were also dark. From time to time, there were the sounds of cats, dogs and insects. Linz Hengren stood in the yard and looked at the mountains in the distance, sighing that the environment of Xiao Heking's hometown was quite good. There were green mountains and clear waters when he opened the door. After a while, the door of the living room opened, and Xiao Heking saw Linz Hengren in the yard and walked to him, and said cutely, "Linz Hengren, I have made your bedding for you. I used my favorite quilt. If you feel uncomfortable sleeping later, I will change it for you. My quilt is good in every way, but I haven't used it for a long time." Linz Hengren smiled and turned back when he heard it. Little He Qing was puzzled, her face slightly red. "What are you laughing at?" "Nothing, Aunt and Grandma have already gone to bed." Little He Qing nodded. "Grandma is old and goes to bed early, and Mom has to go to work tomorrow morning, so she also went to bed. In my hometown, basically no one stays up late except young people," she added. "Oh, and Wenwen is looking at some photos we took when we were young in my bedroom. She is reshooting and saving them on her phone." Linz Hengren could see what Han Wenwen was doing through the window. He hummed and looked at the dark mountains again. Little He Qing stared at Linz Hengren with big eyes, and slowly approached him and stuck to him. She said embarrassedly, "Linz Hengren, if you can't sleep tonight, I will go to find you with Wenwen in the second half of the night. We can get up early in the morning and go back to the room. Mom won't find out." "No need, I think the environment here is very good, and I think I can sleep well tonight," Little He Qing said, but she felt a little disappointed after hearing it. In fact, she hasn't slept with Linz Hengren for more than a week. She wanted to be held by Linz Hengren while sleeping, and she couldn't sleep. Linz Hengren glanced at her secretly at this time and knew what this girl was thinking. He Qing took Linz Hengren's arm and put her head against it. "What are you thinking about? What are you looking at?" "Looking at the mountains." "What's so good about the mountains?" "It's pitch black at night and you can't see anything, but you can see the outline, and I suddenly wonder, which do you like better, the north or the south? Do you like living in the city or in the countryside?" Little He Qing didn't hesitate. "I like you more. I like wherever you are." Linz Hengren looked at Little He Qing puzzledly, but Little He Qing's expression was very serious. "It's true, I like wherever you are. I will follow you. Girls should follow the boys they like." Linz Hengren touched her head with his other hand. "When we separated when we were young, did you ever think that we might not see each other again in this life?" Little He Qing wanted to shake her head but nodded after hesitation. "I have thought about it. I have thought that I would never see you again. Every time this thought comes up, I want to cry. I want to call you quickly. I can feel at ease when I hear your voice. No wonder you always cry every time you call me." Linz Hengren was curious. "When did you start to like me?" Xiao Heking's brain was on standby, and it seemed that she had never thought about this question. "I don't know, maybe I liked you when we first met? Because at that time, everyone bullied me, but you were the only one who was very fierce but treated me very well, protected me, and taught me how not to be bullied, so I liked you consciously and wanted to be with you every day." Linz Hengren really thought that Xiao Heking was silly and cute, and there was no change after so many years. "Silly girl," Xiao Heking smiled. "You rarely call me like that. It sounds cute." Linz Hengren took out a small box from his arms. He originally planned to give it to Xiao Heking after shopping at the Liangsan festival, because Linz Hengren wanted to make the proposal to Xiao Heking more formal. But this thing requires a coincidence, and now is the best time. "Hey, let me show you something." He handed the small box to Xiao Heking. Xiao Heking took it carefully. "What is this?" "Open it and take a look." Xiao Heking opened the lid gently, and there was an exquisite diamond ring inside. Little He Qing's eyes sparkled in surprise. "Ring? What a beautiful ring." "Linz Hengren, is this yours? Or is it from Sister Zhang?" Linz Hengren knocked her head. Little He Qing uttered an blinked her eyes and looked puzzled. "Why did you hit me?" Linz Hengren asked with a smile. "Why do you think this is Jing Shi's?" Because, only Sister Jiang likes to wear rings, and I remember that Sister Jiang liked the style of this ring very much before. I thought Sister Jiang asked you to help buy it, she whispered. That's how I understood it. Did I misunderstand it? You're totally wrong. She wears it because, Lin Zhanggren sighed. Anyway, this ring is for you. I made it for you myself. For me? And you made it yourself? Little He Qing's eyes sparkled and her face blushed. Give me a ring. Little He Qing still knows the meaning of a boy giving a girl a ring, which is a proposal. It's a serious matter, so she didn't think about it just now. But He Qing didn't know whether Lin Zhanggren knew about this. Maybe he just gave her a ring casually. Maybe she was overthinking it. But Lin Zhanggren was so smart, it didn't make sense that he didn't know what she knew. He Qing's face was red. She looked down at the beautiful diamond ring, and whispered to remind him, Lin Zhanggren, do you know that diamond rings have hidden meanings? Of course I know, so before you wear it, I hope you can promise me that you can marry me after graduation and stay with me forever. Are you willing? He Qing was in a trance and stayed there excitedly. Her brain overloaded again, and it was red and smoking like steam. Sure enough, Lin Zhanggren was so smart that he knew what she knew, so how could he not know? Little He Qing stared at Lin Zhanggren for a long time, and finally leaned against his shoulder obediently, her eyes full of tears, and she began to sniffle, very moved. Of course I am willing. After all, you have been my husband in my heart for a long time. I like you so much. Lin Zhanggren had to comfort Little He Qing not to cry, and took the ring in the box and put it on the ring finger of Little He Qing's left hand. Little He Qing couldn't help laughing when looking at the ring on her hand. She was so happy. The two hugged each other tightly in the yard. In the living room, Aunt He, who was going to get a cup of water from the table, secretly watched this scene, and smiled unexpectedly but with relief. Turning back to the bedroom, pretending not to see it, not to disturb the beautiful atmosphere of young people in love. His daughter has fulfilled her wish. Your spiritual connection with He Xianzi has reached the maximum. Your spiritual level is increased by 2. Your current spiritual level is level 99. Chapter 427 Visit. After the proposal, Lin Zhanggren went back to his room to sleep. Little He Qing was reluctant to leave after not seeing him for a week. Now that she had just been proposed to, how could she fall asleep without seeing Lin Zhanggren at night? So she pulled his clothes with her hand. Lin Zhanggren, husband, I want to sleep with you, Lin Zhanggren reminded lovingly. It's not time to call you husband now. Wait until we get married before calling you husband. She nodded shyly, her voice smaller than a mosquito. Then can we sleep together tonight? My mother and grandma must be asleep. Now they don't know which room I am in. I can go back in the morning. Before Lin Zhanggren could say anything, a little fox in He Qing's bedroom tiptoed over and raised his hand. I want to sleep with Brother Zhanggren too. There was no way. Lin Zhanggren saw this and the three of them had to go to the guest room. They got into the warm bed together and fell asleep hugging each other. But the next morning, Little He Qing and Han Wenwen slept a little deeply, and they didn't get up even when the sun was high. After not getting together for a week, He Qing and Han Wenwen felt so comfortable sleeping together. In the winter, they were like little sons in Lin Zhanggren's arms. They felt that they could even lie there all day without doing anything. Aunt He got up after changing her clothes. She went to her daughter's bedroom and knocked on the door and called out, He Qing, Wenwen? Do you two want to have breakfast? But no one responded. Aunt He was about to knock again. Suddenly, Little He Qing came out from nowhere, sweating profusely. Mom, I'm up. Wenwen is still sleeping inside. Don't knock on the door. Seeing that she was wearing pajamas, Aunt He looked puzzled. Where did you come from? Hey, I just went to the bathroom. What's wrong with Mom? He Qing had cold sweat on her forehead. Call Wenwen and your brother Anren to have breakfast. Mom will go to cook for you. Oh, okay. After calling them, I will also help Mom cook. Okay. Little He Qing breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, she got up at the critical moment, otherwise she would have been discovered by her mother. As a result, Aunt He turned back after walking a few steps. You last night, Little He Qing waved her hands nervously and quickly explained, I slept in my own room last night, Mom. I didn't go to Lin Zhanggren's room. The mother and daughter looked at each other and blinked. Aunt He had no choice but to say nothing. Her daughter is indeed not as obedient as she was when she was a child, and she would not say anything even if they slept together. After all, her daughter and Lin Zhanggren have been living together in college. I know, after you call them, come and cook with Mom, okay? Little He Qing breathed a sigh of relief and spread her chest. Fortunately, she was not discovered by her mother. Soon, Lin's Hengren and Han Wenwen also got up, and the family ate breakfast together warmly. Although it was mentioned yesterday, little He Qing was afraid that her mother would forget it after sleeping last night. She reminded him again, "Mom, will I accompany Lin's Hengren back to celebrate the New Year this year?" "I will come back to accompany you and Grandma after the New Year." Grandma was very happy. Okay, we should go to pay New Year's greetings." He Qing's mother nodded and glanced at the ring on her daughter's hand. "Okay, since you are with your brother Ranran. This kind of thing is sooner or later, but you have to leave early before the New Year, right? Otherwise, you can't buy a ticket," Lin's Hengren explained. "It's okay, Auntie, I have a way to not leave in advance. We can leave the day before. He Qing won and I will stay here for a while." He Qing's mother was still happy to hear that they were not leaving immediately. "Okay, then the family can be lively during this time." He Qing's mother drove to work after breakfast. Lin's Hengren also had to accompany Han Wenwen to visit her uncle's house today. By the way, she had to visit her mother. Seeing her uncle, little He Qing didn't follow, and waited for them at home honestly. Waving goodbye at the door, "You two come back early," Lin's Hengren hummed, and Han Wenwen waved her hand. "We will be back after lunch." "Xiao Qingqing, let's go. I'll buy you some delicious food in the afternoon." Lin's Hengren and He Wenwen went to the largest shopping mall in the town and bought some expensive gifts. Although he is just an uncle, he has the grace of raising Han Wenwen, and Lin's Hengren also attaches great importance to him. Han Wenwen was taken to her uncle's house in the town. When she knocked on the door, her aunt was at home coaxing the children. She opened the door and was surprised to see Han Wenwen and Lin's Hengren visiting. "Wenwen, Mr. Lin. Come in, come in." She excitedly called her husband and said that Wenwen and Lin's Hengren were here. Uncle knew that his family's factory was able to survive the crisis that year thanks to Lin's Hengren's help, so he left the company's affairs and came to see Lin's Hengren. When he returned home, he shook hands with Lin's Hengren very respectfully. "Boss Lin, Wenwen, I'm back late. You didn't tell me in advance, otherwise we would have prepared it earlier." Lin's Hengren, "Uncle and Aunt, you're welcome. Wenwen and I brought you some gifts this time." Aunt was flattered and didn't even dare to accept it. "Boss Lin, look at you. It's reasonable that we should give you some gifts. Our family originally planned to buy some things to visit you and Wenwen before the New Year. You see, the tickets are already bought." After saying this, Aunt actually took out a bill from her mobile phone and continued, "Last time, thanks to your help, the factory was able to operate. How about our family go out for lunch today? We will treat you well." Lin's Hengren felt that the two were too polite. No, home-cooked food is fine." Because the uncle and aunt were so enthusiastic, Lin's Hengren and Wenwen had lunch and left. They didn't stay for long, but during the meal, Han Wenwen teased her little cousin who is a few years old for a long time. It can be seen that Han Wenwen likes children very much, and hinted to Lin's Hengren in words and deeds, "Brothers Hengren, children are still cute." After leaving his uncle's house, Lin's Hengren bought some flowers and gifts and went to visit Wenwen's mother with Han Wenwen. Standing in front of the tombstone in the cemetery, Han Wenwen put the flowers on it. Smiled, "Mom, Brothers Hengren and I are here to see you." Han Wenwen took out a ring she had always treasured and put it on her hand, shaking it. "Brothers Hengren proposed to me. After graduation, I will marry Brothers Hengren. I hope Mom can bless us over there." It happened that a gust of wind blew, carrying the fragrance of the surrounding trees and flowers. Lin's Hengren and Han Wenwen looked at each other. They both laughed. Lin's Hengren, "It seems that Auntie heard it." The two left the cemetery hand in hand, looking at the mountains in the distance. Han Wenwen brought up the topic again. "Brothers Hengren, how many litters of little foxes would it be best if Wenwen gave birth to you in the future?" "1 litter is fine." "How many in a litter?" "1. Just 1. So few." "How many do you want?" "Pregnancy is hard, but that is the fruit of my love with Brothers Hengren. It would be better if there were more." "Let's talk about it then." "It's too early to talk about it now." Han Wenwen bit her lip happily. "The main thing is that it feels wonderful just thinking about it." A few days later, the town's unique Liangsan festival began. Chapter 428, The End of the Year Liangsan Festival. This year's Liangsan festival in the town seemed to be more lively than in previous years, with more people. Because before I even got close, I could already hear the noise from afar. Of course, it was not certain that He Qing and Han Wenwen had not been out for a long time. Anyway, taking advantage of the time before the New Year, the town was crowded with people in various small stalls. Various radio speakers, selling various New Year goods, flowers, and spring couplets were everywhere. He Qing and Han Wenwen each held Lin Suhengren's shoulders. They shuttled through the festival under the envious eyes of passers-by. "What beautiful girls, this is the first time I've seen such beautiful girls. Did the man in the middle save the world in his previous life?" Maybe many passers-by thought one of the two girls was Lin Suhengren's sister. So even though the three of them were so close and open, others were envious, but no one thought much about it. Little He Qing looked at the crowded crowd. "I haven't been here for a long time. There are so many people." Han Wenwen stared at the spring couplets on the stall and couldn't move. She inexplicably remembered the scene when Brother Zhengren helped her buy New Year's goods and spring couplets when she spent the New Year in the north for the first time. At that time, the two were not together, but the time in the rental house was quite sweet when they recalled it. "Brother Zhengren, Zio King, let's buy some spring couplets," Little He Qing said. "My mother has already bought them." Han Wenwen bent down and looked at the spring couplets of different shapes. "If you have bought them before, just buy some more and buy some to paste in the villa." Little He Qing thought it was okay. Han Wenwen picked up a spring couplet with a zodiac pattern and asked the two, "How about this? Is it beautiful?" Little He Qing said it was good, but she seemed to have found something better. Lin Zhengren thought it was about the same. Because He Qing lived in a mountainous area. Solian Xinji also went from the foot of the mountain to the mountainside. They played all the way from the bottom to the top, eating snacks and buying some small things that might be useful but were probably useless. Occasionally, they also participated in some games such as hitting balloons and tossing rings. In order to prevent the merchant from paying too much, Lin Zhengren would stop every time he won something that the two girls liked. Han Wenwen held the gift and said with a smile, "Brother Zhengren is great. I feel that if Brother Zhengren is serious, the boss will lie on the ground and cry for a whole day." Little He Qing also sighed while holding the gift all. "Lin Zhengren, you are really amazing. Wenwen and I can hit whatever we want." After half a day, they finally arrived at the center of the Liangxin festival on the mountainside, in front of the 1,000-year-old tree that symbolizes love. Due to the tradition of the Liangxin festival, all those who come to seek marriage must come here to worship, ask for a fortune and tie something to make a wish. So the treetops of the ancient tree were tied with red water chestnuts, red strips, and wishing boards in less than half a day. Han Wenwen introduced, "Brother Zhengren, this tree is the most important part of our Liangxin festival. It is called the marriage tree. You can see that there are many people from other towns around who come to pray for marriage. This tree is super accurate." Lin Zhengren looked up at the ancient tree. "I remember you said before, Wenwen, this tree can help you find your marriage if you don't have one, and it can make your marriage last forever if you have one." Han Wenwen smiled. But the next moment she put her finger on her mouth with a puzzled look on her face. "Have I told Brother Zhengren about it before? I forgot. But it is because of it that I will not miss Brother Zhengren, so I admire this tree very much." Han Wenwen's face became very respectful. Little He Qing took out 3 pieces of red cloth and a carbon pen from her pocket, and said happily, "I brought a wish note in advance, let's write it here." The 3 of them found a place to sit down. Han Wenwen wrote on the strip of cloth, "I hope to be with Brother Zhengren forever." Little He Qing wrote, "I wish that Lin Zhengren and I will never be separated again." Lin Zhengren thought about it and wrote something. Han Wenwen wanted to see curiously, what did Brother Zhengren write? Lin Zhengren showed it to the little fox, who smiled and kissed Lin Zhengren after reading it. "I like Brother Zhengren." Little He Qing blushed after seeing it. "Then let's hang the red strip on the tree. It is said that the higher it is hung, the more effective it is." Lin Zhengren, "Then one of you two will ride on my back. I will carry you on my back and tie it to the tree so that we can go higher." Han Wenwen raised her hand. "I want to." Little He Qing also raised her hand. "I want to, too," Lin Zhengren said lovingly. "Then carry both of you once and tie your strips on it." The 2 girls nodded. So Lin Zhengren carried them one by one and tied the wishing strip as high as possible. After tying them, the 3 of them stared at the 3 wishing strips for a while before turning around and leaving to continue strolling in the Liangxin festival. But no one knew that when the 3 of them turned around and left, the time around them suddenly stopped, and the space became half white. The crowded crowd stopped, the crying children, the laughing couples, everything on the street was frozen here. Lin Zhengren was the only one in the world who could look back at the ancient tree. Of course, he knew that this tree was probably just a sacred tree in people's imagination, and it might not have any effect of promoting marriage. But Lin Zhengren also knew that the reason why Wenwen met him was indeed guided by this ancient tree. It is said that when Xiao He Qing asked for a fortune, she also asked for her own surname. So Lin Sihengren still planned to be childish. He flew into the air within a minute when time stopped. He removed the cloth strips that he had just tied, and then flew to the highest point of the ancient tree and tied the 3 cloth strips on it again. Now that Lin Sihengren has reached level 99, he can double the time he can stop. I hope He Qing, Wenwen, Lily, Jingxi, Kaianqian, and Meng Meng can live happily every day. After tying it, he returned to the ground. He returned to the middle of the 2 women, let them hold his arms, and time began to flow again. The space was restored, and the 3 of them continued to walk forward with laughter and chatter. The festival was still lively. Everything seemed to have nothing happened. And the old tree with the many wishing strips was swaying slowly in the breeze, as if it really had a unique vitality. The 2 weeks in the south passed much faster than expected. Eating, drinking, and playing, time passed in the blink of an eye. 2 nights before the new year, He Qing sat on the bed in the guest bedroom and asked Lin Sihengren, we should go back to the south tomorrow, right? How do we get back? Han Wenwen was also curious. Yeah, the train tickets are all sold out now. How do we get back such a long way? Lin Sihengren leaned against the head of the bed and smiled. I've told you I have a way. You 2 should pack up your things tonight and have a good sleep. I will take you home early tomorrow morning. He Qing and Han Wenwen looked at each other and nodded. At this time, there was a knock on the door. It was Aunt He's voice. Sihengren? Do you have time? Auntie has something to discuss with you. Chapter 429 Return to Town. Lin Sihengren looked up. Yes, I'll go out right now. He got out of bed and opened the door, and saw Aunt He standing at the door, smiling at him. The 2 came to the yard, and Aunt He handed Lin Sihengren a strange hand-woven necklace in her hand. What is this? Lin Sihengren was puzzled. This is made by Grandma He Qing. It is a token of the elder's blessing to the newlyweds. You keep it. It was the first time that Lin Sihengren heard of it. After taking it, he found that the style of the bracelet was very novel, a bit like an object of ethnic minorities. There were some grass roots mixed in the colorful ones. I don't know what happened, but he could see a trace of spiritual energy from heaven and earth entangled on it. But ordinary people can't see it. Aunt He explained, her grandmother was not from here before, she was a minority. She fled here when she was young to escape famine. Later, she married my father and stayed here. This bracelet was also made for me when I got married, so that's how it is. Grandma didn't grow up in this town. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Aunt He. I will keep it well. It was the first time he saw that something woven by ordinary people could actually have a little spiritual energy. Aunt He smiled. I don't really believe in traditional customs. This bracelet is just a symbol. But Sihengren, I've watched you grow up. I'm really shocked that you've become so capable now. You and Qing will go back tomorrow. I think I should tell you something. She paused. Be nice to Qing. Lin Sihengren nodded. Aunt He spoke from the bottom of her heart. Aunt He is not very good at managing a marriage. She and He Qing's father messed up everything. This child was timid when he was young. Although I think I have tried my best as a mother, Qing obviously has no sense of security in life. Fortunately, I met you. Auntie believes in you. Don't worry, Auntie. I will definitely be nice to Qing. Aunt He tonight obviously thought for a long time before coming here, and obviously had a lot to say. But facing Lin Sihengren, she didn't say too many extra words after struggling, probably because she was afraid that her thoughts might damage and interfere with her daughter's feelings, so she just repeated the first sentence again and added one more sentence. Qing is sometimes stupid and annoying, so you should be more tolerant and patient with her. Auntie wishes you 2 a long and happy life. Lin Sihengren nodded and said thank you. Tonight passed like this. The night was quiet, and little He Qing and Han Wenwen had already packed their luggage. Lin Sihengren asked them to go back to their own rooms tonight to sleep, although little He Qing and Han Wenwen were a little reluctant. But since the head of the family said so, the 2 had to obey. Sleep in He Qing's bedroom. The next morning, Lin Sihengren changed his clothes and got up early. He said to Aunt He, who also got up, Aunt He, I will take He Qing and Wenwen back today. After obtaining Aunt He's consent, Lin Sihengren opened the door and went in while the 2 were sleeping. He first picked up Wenwen in a princess hug. The little fox was a little flustered when someone picked him up. He slowly opened his eyes and was relieved when he saw that it was Lin Sihengren. He smiled and asked in confusion, Brother Sihengren? What's wrong? Wenwen misses you so much. He kissed him and Lin Sihengren smiled and said, Don't we see each other every day? It's nothing. Just continue to sleep." Han Wenwen was half asleep and half awake. Lin's Hengren touched her head with his hand to make her sleep more sweetly. The little fox smiled and fell asleep again. Time stopped again, and the surroundings became pure white. Lin's Hengren held Han Wenwen and left the house and flew into the air. He broke through the air towards Zidong City. Although 1 minute was not enough for Lin's Hengren to fly directly from the south to the north. But for the ability of world peace, he found that the calling time was only about 5 seconds each time it was activated, and it also had the function of splitting. In simple terms, Lin's Hengren can now stop time for 1 minute every 5 seconds. And he can also split this 1 minute of time, that is, stop the time countless times within 1 minute, and repeat it many times. Think about it, there are no enemies in this world. Otherwise, Lin's Hengren didn't dare to think how useful this ability would be in a fight. He held Han Wenwen and flew in the still time. After every minute of time running, Lin's Hengren would stop in midair. Wait for 5 seconds. Because in normal time, once Lin's Hengren held Han Wenwen and flew, the speed would be very fast, and the cold wind at high altitude might make the little fox uncomfortable. It might also wake her up. So Lin's Hengren would only move forward while stopping. Repeating this back and forth 2 or 3 times, Lin's Hengren soon arrived at the villa where he lived in the north. He opened the door and carried Han Wenwen to the bed in the big bedroom, and covered her with a quilt gently. Han Wenwen's mouth curled up and she acted coquettishly in her dream. "Brothers Hengren, do you like to eat potato chips? When one likes to eat, I'll feed you." Lin's Hengren touched her head helplessly, and went to pick up Xiao Heking and the luggage they packed in the same way. Tossed back and forth 3 times. Finally, he brought them both back. At 7:30 in the morning, the sunlight from the north shone on the bed in the bedroom. Lin's Hengren was sitting on the sofa in the living room, talking to Zhang Zuli, Zhang Jingxi, and Zhang Jin on the phone, telling them that he was back. He would be back to the town at noon today. The 3 of them were so happy when they received the call that they immediately discussed meeting in the town. At the same time, Xiao Heking on the 2nd floor finally woke up in bed. Xiao Heking fumbled for the phone under the pillow in a daze, but couldn't find it after a long time. When she opened her eyes, she found it next to the pillow. She glanced at the time, 7:30. She resisted the sleepiness and sat up, rubbing her eyes to ask Lin's Hengren what time he would leave. As a result, after seeing the surrounding scene clearly, Xiao Heking was surprised and startled. "Where is this? Isn't this a villa?" "I'm back." Xiao Heking didn't understand what was going on. When she went to bed last night, she was clearly in her hometown in the south. How come she woke up in a villa in the north? You know, even if you take the high-speed rail, you still have to sit for most of the day. Did she sit in the train all night last night? But the high-speed rail doesn't run at night. She turned around and pushed Han Wenwen, who was still sleeping next to her. "Wenwen, Wenwen, wake up. How come we are home?" Han Wenwen turned over and closed her eyes with a sob in her throat. "What do you mean home? Haven't we always been at your house?" "Not my house, but the villa, our own home. We are back." "Xiao Qing, what are you mumbling about? Really, wake up. What happened last night, and where is Lin's Hengren? I want to go find him, I want to get up." Han Wenwen was woken up by Xiao Heking, so she had to sit up slowly, sighing and wondering, "What are you talking about? What about this home and that home? Haven't we always been?" She opened her eyes and was suddenly stunned. Looking at the familiar villa bedroom, the little fox blinked cutely. "What's going on? Why are we at home? How did we get back?" The 2 besties looked at each other and suddenly felt a little scared. They didn't even change their clothes tacitly, and walked downstairs in pajamas holding hands, calling someone's name. It was not until they saw Lin's Hengren on the 1st floor, who was on the phone, that the 2 girlfriends felt relieved. Little He Qing ran over with a smile, and the little fox also quickened his pace. "Lin's Hengren, why are we back? Brothers Hengren, what's going on?" Lin's Hengren looked up at the 2 people walking down the stairs. "Are you 2 awake? Why did you come down without changing clothes?" Chapter 430 Miss. Little He Qing explained the current situation, pinching her little hands in a cute and playful way. "How could I have time to change clothes? When I woke up and saw that I was back to the villa, I thought I was dreaming. I was scared to death." The little fox also went over and grabbed Lin's Hengren's arm. "I was also scared when I opened my eyes. At first, I didn't understand what Xiao Qing meant when she said she was back. Later, When I opened my eyes and saw that I was back to the villa, I was a little scared. Fortunately, Brother Zhengren was there. Lin Zhengren wanted to laugh, so he touched their faces to calm them down. You two are not that serious, are you? This is not a strange place. What are you afraid of? This simple comforting action was still useful, and both girls smiled. Little He Qing was curious, so what happened? How did we get back? We took public transportation. How else could we get back? Public transportation. That's so vague. Han Wenwen was also curious, but there are no high-speed trains at night, right? And the high-speed trains have to check tickets. Can you sleep on the train? Little He Qing was even more confused. Yes, if we took other trains, how could there be such a fast train? It's faster than the high-speed train, and there's no traffic jam during the new year. Lin Zhengren had already made up an excuse. It was a helicopter. The two girls were surprised at the same time. Ah, a helicopter. Little He Qing's eyes lit up, imagining a huge helicopter coming to pick her up. So cool. Little Fox was even more surprised and tried to look into the yard, but she didn't see the big helicopter she imagined. Lin Zhengren said, "Don't look, the plane has already left. I rented it just to bring you two back for the new year. The plane arrived in the early morning last night. I saw you two were sleeping, so I didn't wake you up. I carried you on the plane and brought you back." The two girls looked at each other, and they could understand if it was a helicopter. This means of transportation does not require tickets, does not get stuck in traffic, and flies fast. With Lin Zhengren's current wealth, it is not strange to rent a helicopter. As for the noise of the plane, the two girls have never ridden it, so they can't think too much about many details. Xiao He Qing smiled foolishly and said, "So that's how it is. This is my first time riding a helicopter. Although I didn't seem to ride it completely and I have no impression of it at all, I am also a person who has ridden on a plane." Han Wenwen said coquettishly with admiration, "It's my first time riding a plane too. Brother Zhengren should have called us up so that we could see the scenery in the sky. What a pity, how can there be scenery to see in the middle of the night?" "We flew in the middle of the night," Han Wenwen reacted. "That's right," but she immediately said excitedly, "Then let's take a plane next time we go back to the south, Brother Zhengren. This time we will take off during the day, okay? We don't even have to go back to the south. If you want to see it, I will take time to rent another one and take you two to see the scenery in the sky." The two girlfriends were happy. Lin Zhengren put away the phone in his hand. "Okay, I just told Jingxi Lily and the others about our return. You two change your clothes and pack up. We will try to return to the town at noon and have a reunion dinner together in the evening, okay?" The two girls responded. Not long after, Xiao He Qing and Han Wenwen returned to the bedroom, changed their clothes, and dressed up. The special driver had been waiting for a long time. The three of them returned to the town community together. At the gate of Zijin Garden community in the town, Zhang Jingxi, Zhang Jin, and Zhang Zuli had been waiting in advance. After answering the phone, the three of them went to see him at the speed of light. They hadn't seen Lin Zhengren for half a month, and the three girls missed him very much. Every few seconds, they looked at the intersection, fearing that they would not see him in the first time. "Why hasn't Zhengren come yet?" Zhang Jin looked at the intersection. "It should be soon." When Lin Zhengren and others arrived, the three girls ran over immediately after being surprised. They didn't care if there were other people around. When Lin Zhengren got out of the car, the three girls immediately threw themselves into Lin Zhengren's arms. "Stupid, you're finally back, Zhang. I missed you so much." Run. "I didn't expect the past half month to be so hard. I finally see you." Lin Zhengren calmed the three people down, and Xiao He Qing and Han Wenwen also greeted them. Lin Zhengren reminded, "Okay, you three, there are still people around." The three people heard this and realized that there were a few boys shopping in the distance. They happened to see the situation here and were so surprised that they couldn't speak. Zhang Jingxi, Zhang Jin and Zhang Zuli were a little embarrassed and all stood up again. The next moment, they all laughed again. Lin Zhengren sighed, "You three came really early. Didn't I say we would arrive at around 11? It's not even 10:30 and you three are already here." Zhang Zuli said proudly, "It's mainly because I don't have anything to do today. I don't have any shows to shoot during the New Year holidays, so I'm very free. I'm just waiting to spend the New Year with you. If you don't come early, I'll have nothing to do." Zhang Jingxi said gently. It was okay when Zhang just left, but in the past week, the three of us missed you so much that we couldn't help but send you messages and call you. Lily was a little absent-minded when filming, especially since she had a show yesterday that would take 2 days to shoot, but Lily thought it was almost time for you to come back, so she turned it down. Zhang Zuli saw that her behavior was exposed by Jiang Jingshi, and blushed and said, "How can I be absent-minded? I'm also very serious about my work. As for that work, who would film during the new year? I won't," Jiang Jin said coldly. "Really? But when my sister and I watched you filming a commercial the day before yesterday, we saw you in a daze several times. Didn't you tell me at that time?" She imitated Jiang Zuli's arrogant tone, pinching her waist. "Why hasn't that idiot come back yet? The new year is almost here, and he didn't say what time he will be back. It's so anxious, stinky Zhengren. Stupid Zhengren, silly Zhengren." Little He Qing and Han Wenwen laughed when they heard it. Jiang Zuli looked at him with contempt and said shamefully, "Qianqian, can you stop imitating me?" "And did I say that?" Jiang Jin said expressionlessly. "What I said is true, Jiang Zuli." She looked at Lin Zhengren, but after Ranran left, "It's not just Lily. I couldn't eat or sleep these days. It seems that what the book says about falling in love sometimes makes people uncomfortable is not false. I really want to see you." Lin Zhengren held Jiang Jin's hand and looked at the arrogant Jiang Zuli and the gentle Jiang Jingshi. "I miss you too. Have you made time for the new year?" Everyone nodded. Jiang Jingshi, "Everything has been arranged. From today to the 4th, we are all free. We can have a good time for a few days. Let's go upstairs." The girls nodded. "Follow Lin Zhengren to the community. Visit Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin." When Lin Zhengren walked to the door, he knocked on the door. When Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin opened the door, the couple looked at so many daughters-in-law following their son, and smiled, not knowing what to say. He Qing, Han Wenwen, Jiang Zuli, Jiang Jingshi, and Jiang Jin said in unison, "Hello, uncle and aunt." Lin Xiaoli smiled and said, "Qingqing, Wenwen, Lily, Shishi, Qianqian, hello, come in quickly." Chapter 431 New Year's Eve Dinner. The 5 girls put down their shopping at home, and the house of more than 100 square meters became lively almost immediately. Lin Yingjin thought that no matter whose family celebrates the new year, the daughters-in-law alone can gather in one room. After sitting down and simply saying hello and chatting, the girls all wanted to follow Lin Xiaoli to the kitchen to help, but the small kitchen was always a little small. Lin Xiaoli had to say, "You don't have to be in the kitchen all the time. 1 or 2 of you can accompany me, and the others can go sit and rest." Everyone looked at each other in the kitchen. After all, this was the first time to celebrate the new year at my mother-in-law's house. It didn't seem right for anyone to sit and rest, so Lin Xiaoli thought about it and took the initiative to say, "How about Wenwen, Lily, and Qianqian, the 3 of you help clean up Ranran's room? I just haven't had time to clean it yet." The 3 girls nodded, accepted the task and went to the bedroom immediately. The 3 of them couldn't wait to clean up Lin Zhengren's room. At this time, Lin Yingjin also realized something and asked Lin Zhengren in a low voice, "How are you all going to rest tonight? Ranran, do you usually sleep in separate rooms with him or?" Lin Zhengren answered naturally, "We sleep together." Lin Yingjin was stunned. Sleeping together, he couldn't imagine it at all. His son's life was indeed not something that ordinary people could understand, but since they were sure to be together for the rest of their lives, it seemed normal. "Then can the double bed in your bedroom be spread out for 6 people? Lin Zhengren also went to the bedroom to take a look. "Dad, it's okay. We can just squeeze in at night these 2 days. We don't need too much space anyway. We usually sleep together anyway." Lin Yingjin grinned and didn't know how they slept specifically, but he knew that starting from next year, he would definitely have to buy another bed for his son's bedroom to expand it. "Then you just make do with it for now. After all, it doesn't seem right to ask you to have separate rooms during the New Year's Day." There was not enough time at noon, so everyone had a simple meal together and a good meal in the evening. During the New Year, we basically just had fun. The only thing we had to do was to prepare for the New Year's Eve dinner tomorrow night. During lunch, the 5 girls sat around Lin Zhengren, and the family was talking and laughing. There were so many people, so there were a lot of topics to talk about. It took the couple an hour to ask about the 5 daughters-in-law. During the chat, Lin Zhengren's phone rang. He took the phone out of his pocket and found that it was a call from an unfamiliar number. Little He Qing sat next to Lin Zhengren and asked curiously, "Who is it? Is it from the company?" "I don't know, I'll take it." Lin Zhengren picked up the phone. "Hello? This is Lin Zhengren, who are you?" The voice on the other end of the phone was very familiar. It was Fang Meng's mother. Her tone seemed a little anxious. Ranran? This is Fang Meng's mother. Are you busy now? Are you free today? Lin's Hengren was puzzled. Auntie? What's wrong, Meng Meng? Meng Meng is sick. She kept talking about you when she was asleep. I wonder if you can come and see her. Since Lin Hengren answered the phone, everyone at the table looked at Lin Hengren quietly. Although it was not hands-free, everyone could hear the content of the phone in this quiet atmosphere. However, this call was obviously not about work. The 5 women had different expressions after hearing the content of the phone. Lin Xiali and Lin Yingjin also stayed there, not daring to speak or interrupt. Lin Hengren heard and nodded. Well, I know, Auntie. Okay, don't worry, hang up the phone. Zhang Jin spoke first in a cold voice. Is Meng Meng sick? Lin Hengren nodded. Auntie said it seems to be a fever. The 5 girls looked at each other, and finally gradually had a relieved expression. As the closest people to Lin Hengren, they naturally understood Lin Hengren's attitude towards Fang Meng. As expected, the position of the 6 sisters was still occupied by Fang Meng. Han Wenwen said jealously, it seems that we have to add another sister. Zhang Zuli snorted, sure enough, I didn't stop it. Xiao Heqing said considerately, go quickly, if Meng Meng is okay, ask her to come here for dinner tomorrow night. Zhang Jingshi said, Zhang, we will wait for you here. Lin Hengren looked at the 5 girls and smiled, then I will go, I will be back before dinner. The 5 girls nodded. They even stood up together to see Lin Hengren off at the door. They were stunned by Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiali who were sitting in the main seat. Even as elders, they couldn't comment on their son's family situation, especially the attitude of the girls to accept new sisters. Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiali were totally unprepared. They had thought that there would be a bloody storm. Who knew it would be unexpectedly peaceful? But Fang Meng did not appear suddenly after all. These girls might have been prepared for him, otherwise they would never accept him so quickly. At the door, Lin Hengren said hello to the 5 girls and left. The 5 girls stood in a row at the door and watched Lin Hengren go. Although it was expected, they were still jealous after Lin Hengren left. After Fang Meng joined the big family, the weekly draws and so on had to be readjusted. Lin Hengren went downstairs, stopped time, and flew towards Fang Meng's home. He landed in an empty place at the gate of Fang Meng's community, and time resumed. Lin Hengren walked in slowly. After knocking on the door, Fang Meng's mother was a little surprised when she opened the door. Ranran? You're here so soon? I just finished the phone call less than 2 minutes ago. Fang Meng's father also came over. Ranran is here. Yes, hello, uncle and aunt. Lin Hengren explained casually, it can only be said that it is a coincidence. I just happened to pass by here, and you called me, and how is Fang Meng? Fang Meng's mother didn't think much about it, thinking that this might be fate. It happened that her daughter was sick, and Ranran happened to be nearby. She has had a fever since yesterday morning, but it was not very serious yesterday. Today, she has a high fever, and I keep saying your name. Lin Hengren followed Fang Meng's parents to Fang Meng's bedroom. He saw Fang Meng, wearing pink pajamas, lying on the bed covered with a quilt. Her face was a little pale, and there was sweat on her forehead. Lin Hengren approached and checked Fang Meng's pulse. Fang Meng's mother asked hurriedly, how is it? It shouldn't be a big deal, just a little weak and caught a cold. That's good. Fang Meng's mother looked at her husband, and she asked again, did Ranran eat? Yes, I have eaten. Fang Meng's mother. Then I'll go cut some fruit for you. Auntie, don't bother, it's okay, it's troublesome for you to come here. At this time, Fang Meng listened to the voices around her and slowly opened her eyes. Lin Hengren? Is it you? I think I heard your voice. Lin Hengren nodded. Yes, it's me. Are you okay? Fang Meng's mother looked at her weak daughter and smiled, and she smiled unconsciously, and greeted her husband with her eyes, meaning to give the 2 children separate space. The couple left the room and closed the door. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432 News. In the pink-walled girl's bedroom, Fang Meng lay on the bed with a weak face. With half-opened eyes, she looked at the figure sitting beside the bed. This figure looked like the boy she had been thinking about for a while, but she was not sure for a moment. Because this must be in her own home, would he come to her home to see her? Lin Hengren? Is that you? Am I seeing the right person? Yes, it's really me. How do you feel? After Fang Meng saw the other person's face clearly, a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth unconsciously. He was still so handsome. I feel fine, except for being a little cold, having a headache, a little hoarseness in the throat, and no strength. Everything else is fine. These are just common symptoms. The description is very accurate. Why did you come to my house? Are you here to see me? Of course, your aunt told you that you were sick and had a fever, so I hurried over. You are usually in good health. What happened to you this time? Fang Meng shook her head slowly, but her eyes were fixed on someone. I don't know. I haven't even left the house much or done any work during this period of time, but I got sick inexplicably. It shouldn't happen. Lin's Hengren touched Fang Meng's sweaty forehead with his hand in confusion. You haven't left the house recently? I just checked your pulse. It's very weak. It's obvious that you've been overworked recently. Although the flu is more contagious during the Chinese New Year, how could this happen if you didn't leave the house? What have you been doing at home for more than half a month? Fang Meng wanted to feel the warmth of Lin's Hengren's palm on her forehead, but she couldn't feel anything because of her illness. She just felt that he was very close to her. She stared at Lin's Hengren and said to herself, I really didn't do anything. Every morning I checked you if you sent me a message, at lunch I checked you if you sent me a message, at night I checked you if you sent me a message, when I stayed up late I checked you if you sent me a message in the early morning, and in the middle of the night. That's all. Lin's Hengren, he found the blind spot. Is it like this every day? Yeah, Lin's Hengren, then don't you sleep? I can't sleep. Lin's Hengren was embarrassed. I think I know how you got sick, he said seriously. How can this be possible? Who can bear not sleeping every day? You are not Superman. She liked the feeling of being scolded by the other party, blushing and whispering, but I miss you. I'm waiting for you to send me a message. Lin's Hengren looked at Fang Meng's weak appearance in a daze and retracted his hand. At this moment, Fang Meng obviously wanted to hold Lin's Hengren's hand, but her hand just raised a movement and gave up. She didn't dare to hold it, and she didn't have the strength to hold it. Are you leaving now? She asked reluctantly. I just got here. I'm definitely not leaving. Fang Meng breathed a sigh of relief, and then hurriedly asked, I was so scared. I thought you were leaving when you took your hand back. What have you been doing for more than half a month? Why didn't you send me a message? I didn't receive a single message from you. I thought my phone was broken or there was a bug in WeChat. I went to the mobile phone repair shop 3 times in half a month, but the boss said it was not broken and that I was teasing her and ignored me. Lin's Hengren grinned. Fang Meng didn't joke much, and she was somewhat similar to Zhang Jin. Especially now that she was sick, it was obvious that what she said was true. It was understandable that the boss ignored her. I went to the south with He Qing and Wenwen. I accompanied them back to their hometown during the Chinese New Year and just came back today. Fang Meng looked at Lin's Hengren and suddenly realized, so that's the case. What does this have to do with not sending me messages, huh? Fang Meng slowly puffed up one cheek, and her already pale face looked even more pitiful at this moment, as if she was jealous and questioning. I said, what does your accompanying them home have to do with not sending me messages? Even if you like them, it's okay to send me a message before accompanying them before the New Year, right? Didn't we say that we would be together during the Chinese New Year? Didn't you say you like me too? But you ignored me. I thought you forgot about me. I was waiting for you at home every day to invite me out on a date, she continued to say aggrievedly, like a bamboo tube pouring beans. I dare not go out every day, for fear that you will suddenly look for me someday and I will be delayed because of other things, so I have turned down everything during this period of time and have been waiting for you. Qian Qian asked me to go to work and I didn't go, but you didn't mean to look for me at all. Bad man. If it was normal, Fang Meng would never talk to Lin's Hengren like this, because she was also a timid person in love. After all, even though she missed him so much, she never dared to send a message to Lin's Hengren. It was because she was sick and her mind could not be as calm as usual. Otherwise, she would not even dare to think about it. Not to mention saying it out loud. Don't you want to be with me anymore? Do you regret it? She had many subtle expressions and her emotions were changeable. When Lin's Hengren saw her holding her hand like this, Fang Meng felt the touch of that hand and even shivered. Her palm curled up slightly, looking at Lin's Hengren like a kitten. He held my hand. Lin's Hengren smiled and comforted. How could I regret it? It's not like I just started to like you. I can't just say I don't like you anymore. It's just that there are a lot of things before the New Year. What I want to do is to spend more time with you after we are together during the new year. Otherwise, I won't be able to come back before the new year, and if I send you messages when I am with He Qing when, won't that disrupt your life rhythm? It will make it difficult for both sides. Linz Hengren, since I met you, you have disrupted the rhythm of my life. I don't know when it started, but I think about you almost every day, but I can't show it because Kyankian and the eldest lady both like you. You did show it a lot. You even kissed me when we graduated from high school, Feng Meng said blankly. Really? Have you forgotten? Linz Hengren asked back. You can forget that. Feng Meng blushed. I'm just kidding. How could I forget? They both laughed. Linz Hengren held her hand, and Feng Meng also plucked up the courage. After a pause, she quietly turned over her hand and held his. He said, then let me ask you, if you miss me, why don't you take the initiative to send me a message? Linz Hengren took out his phone and flipped through it to make sure that the other party had not sent him a message. My phone can't be broken, right? Feng Meng looked aside shyly when she heard this. I dare not send you a message. Think about it, even Kyankian didn't dare to send you a message when she was not with you. How much more powerful can I be than Kyankian? I dare not, I am very timid, really. Linz Hengren put down his phone. Speaking of timidity suddenly reminds me of the sports warehouse in high school. You are afraid of mice, right? Feng Meng's face turned pale again when he heard about mice. Why do you mention mice at this time? My hair stood up, so exaggerated. Well, I used to be most afraid of mice, before, now I am most afraid that you don't like me. Linz Hengren and Feng Meng looked at each other again, silent. He condensed a pill from his pocket on the spot, because Feng Meng couldn't see the spiritual energy, so he would only think that he had brought it with him a long time ago. He took out a black pill. Here, eat it, and the disease will be cured after eating it. Chapter 433 First Kiss. Feng Meng looked at the black pill curiously. What is this? Is it Chinese medicine? He reached out to take it. Because he knew medicine, he habitually put the pill to his nose and smelled it. His nose moved like a puppy. But after exploring it, he was puzzled and frowned. What kind of medicine is this? Why can't I smell the ingredients? Is it because of illness that my nose is not working well? Feng Meng licked the pill again and tasted it. There is no smell. Even if I am sick, I can't tell at all. How can there be such a medicinal material? Did you make it yourself? Linz Hengren nodded. Of course I made it myself. It is very effective. How did you make it? How can I not make it? Linz Hengren smiled and said, secret. Feng Meng pursed her lips. Why don't you tell me anything? Everything I ask you is a secret. Why can't I imitate what you can do in the world? It's so strange. Even though she didn't know the ingredients of the pill, Feng Meng didn't hesitate to put it in her mouth because it was given by Linz Hengren. The pill melted in her mouth and slid into her stomach. Feng Meng was very surprised. Her eyes widened a little. What a magical medicine. I'm sure I've never seen it before. That's why I say it's a secret. If it's not mysterious, it's not a secret, she pouted, and the other party didn't say it and didn't ask any more. After taking it, she looked at Linz Hengren again. What day is it today? Tomorrow is the Chinese New Year. Tomorrow is the Chinese New Year. Then tomorrow night we can be together, and we can fall in love. Yes, we can be together tomorrow. Feng Meng stared down at her hands holding his, with a smile on her face. The effect of the pill also gradually began to take effect at this time, and quickly traveled through Feng Meng's body, strengthening her body and eliminating the disease. It can be seen with the naked eye that Feng Meng's pale face gradually turned into a blush, and her empty eyes became more and more energetic. Her thoughts gradually returned to normal, the headache subsided, and her eyes were still staring at the clasped hands. After blinking a few times blankly, her face became redder and redder, and her consciousness became clearer and clearer. She recovered completely from the fever, and sat up almost instantly. She looked at Linz Hengren closely, dazed and embarrassed, her pajamas still loosely slipping off her shoulders, and remembered the bunch of words she had just said, those conversations she had made without thinking. She stuttered, her lips trembled, her eyes sparkled, and her cheeks were smoking. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, classmate Linz Hengren. Linz Hengren saw that she recovered quite quickly. Are you not feeling uncomfortable? She took back her hands and hugged her legs, buried her face in her legs and apologized frantically. She said loudly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't mind what I said just now, I didn't mean that. I don't mean to blame you. Feng Meng's mother and father outside the living room heard the noisy sound coming from their daughter's room. The father was about to ask his daughter what happened in the room. As a result, the mother stopped her husband and quietly walked to the door of her daughter's room to eavesdrop. Listening to her daughter's shameful tone in the house, "Don't be angry, I just said those words without thinking, I really didn't mean anything else, you can do your own things before the new year. I miss you, but you don't have to pay attention to me, you have to send me messages, I know we are not together yet so, woo woo woo, can you understand what I am saying?" Feng Meng's mother heard these words outside the door and laughed with her mouth covered. She didn't understand the cause and effect, but she could still hear the flirting. She walked back to the living room to signal her husband that everything was fine, and whispered. Meng Meng was unusually happy to see Ran Ran, and her voice was energetic. "Don't worry about them." Feng Meng's father was surprised. "Is it so exaggerated?" Meng Meng was half asleep and half awake just now, and she didn't get better. "Of course, I'm not lying to you. Traditional Chinese medicine says that worrying can cause illness. My daughter has obviously been thinking about something these days, and when the person she is thinking about comes to her, the disease will naturally heal." In the bedroom, Feng Meng felt so embarrassed for the first time. Especially when facing the boy she likes. She really wanted to hug her thighs and cry. She reflected on why she had said those words just now, and even called Lin Zhengren a bad man. Normally, even if she thought of these words, she would not say them directly. Seeing her frantic explanation, Lin Zhengren smiled and said, "I didn't take it to heart, don't worry about it." Feng Meng's face turned red, and after a long silence, she secretly glanced at him to confirm whether he was really not angry. She whispered, "Really? I know I have crossed the line a little bit, before we are together." Lin Zhengren smiled and said nothing. "I understand, it's human nature." This made Feng Meng blush even more. What does human nature mean? She buried her face in her knees again, escaping from reality. The room became quiet again. Lin Zhengren invited her, "Will you come to my house for dinner tomorrow night?" Feng Meng was so flattered that she looked up at him for the nth time. "Tomorrow night? Tomorrow is the Chinese New Year." "Yes, but it doesn't have to be at night. If you want to go early, go early. Qian, Jingxi, Wenwen, He Qing, and Lily are all here. If you go early, it would be nice to play poker together during the Chinese New Year." "What does this mean? Does it mean that tomorrow, Qian, the eldest lady, and the others will be the same to you?" Feng Meng, who had been baited by Lin Zhengren for half a month, had to confirm in detail, otherwise she would not be at ease. "Well, a reunion dinner, it must be a family that eats together," Lin Zhengren replied. Feng Meng was moved, pursed her lips and was very shy. "Then what will our relationship be tomorrow?" "Don't say tomorrow, our relationship is now boyfriend and girlfriend. It's already this time and there's no need to wait for tomorrow." She pinched the quilt covering her legs hard, and couldn't believe that she could really be with him. "That's right." Lin Zhengren stretched out his hand. Feng Meng recalled the scene just now, and remembered that she had been holding his hand when she was sick, and it should be okay to hold it again now. So she tentatively reached out and held his hand. The feeling of holding the healed hands together again was different, and the touch was much clearer. Lin Zhengren said gently, "Do you want to hug?" "Yes," she replied. Lin Zhengren pulled her into his arms. She hugged his back. It was the first time for the two of them to be so close to each other. Feng Meng's happy mouth curled up, and there were even tears in the corners of her eyes. Finally, she hugged each other tightly. "Can I kiss?" After hugging for a long time, Feng Meng hummed and asked softly. Lin Zhengren looked at her, and their lips slowly moved together, and they kissed with their eyes closed. Feng Meng was still very proactive. This was the first time she reached her hand into Lin Zhengren's shirt and entangled him more closely. Slowly enjoy this first kiss experience. Chapter 434 Title. Lin Zhengren stood by the bed, pulled open the pink curtains and observed. "I remember your bedroom wasn't like this the last time I came to your house, right?" Feng Meng got off the bed to find some clothes. Lin Zhengren was going to go out and let her change, but Feng Meng didn't want him to go out. He said that he just needed to turn his head a little, and Lin Zhengren went to look out the window. Feng Meng opened the closet and picked out a pair of nice jeans and long sleeves. She looked back at him, shyly took off her pajamas, and put on a short sleeve. She changed her jeans little by the bed. The feeling of kissing just now surprised her a little. It was very novel and delicate, and she couldn't help but linger. "Well, the wallpaper was white before, and there was a dirty spot, so I just changed it to pink wallpaper half a year ago. These two colors are quite suitable for you," he commented. Thank you. Fang Meng put on her clothes and slippers. Okay, you're done, you can turn around. Lin's Hengren turned around and stared at Fang Meng, who had just changed her clothes. She looked much fresher, and her clothes were always very trendy. How is it? She asked. Lin's Hengren, it looks good, just like usual. Fang Meng smiled. It sounds a bit perfunctory, but classmate Lin's Hengren won't lie, I believe it. She glanced at the thermometer on the bed, picked it up and looked at it, and then touched her current question with her hand. As a medical student, she couldn't help but be curious again. By the way, classmate Lin's Hengren, what kind of medicine was that just now? Why did it work so quickly after taking it? I almost fainted after taking it. It stands to reason that oral medicine should not have such an effect, even if it is effective. What are the side effects? Lin's Hengren walked to her side. There are no side effects when used in small amounts. The ingredients are all very natural. After all, spiritual energy is also a product of nature. However, even if it is spiritual energy, if there is too much in the pill, ordinary people can't bear it, and the body will be backfired by the high-purity spiritual energy. Therefore, the theory that medicine is three-point poison can also be applied to spiritual energy pills. He continued, as for what it is, it's hard for me to describe it to you. I just discovered it. Fang Meng became even more curious, with a little excitement in her eyes, and blurted out, a newly discovered medicinal material? This is no small matter. Lin's Hengren knew that Fang Meng wanted to know, but no one except himself could apply spiritual energy to objects. Normal people don't have the ability to control spiritual energy at all. But suddenly he remembered something. That is, on the homemade bracelet that He Qing's grandmother gave him, there was extremely thin and rare spiritual energy. Although the concentration of these spiritual energies is not as good as 1,000th of what Lin's Hengren condensed casually, the effect is also far worse. But even if there is only this little bit, if it can be used in medicine, it will definitely double the effect of the medicine. Lin's Hengren took out the artificial bracelet from his arms, which he had been wearing. Fang Meng was surprised when he saw it. Lin's Hengren carefully explored where this thin spiritual energy came from, whether it was due to the production process or the materials. Finally, it was found that it was on the grass roots in the bracelet, which means that the grass roots in it can absorb a small amount of spiritual energy between heaven and earth and store it in itself. He handed the bracelet to Fang Meng. Let me see it. This is a gift from Grandma He Qing to me. She said it was a gift to bless us to be together. Can you recognize the medicinal herbs in it? Fang Meng was a little afraid to take it when she heard that it was such an important thing. You want to show it to me? Such a valuable thing. You are my girlfriend now, and you should be most interested in medicine, right? I also plan to let you achieve something in this area in the future. After all, I remember you said before that if possible, you would like to calm down and study the field of medicine carefully. Fang Meng stared at Lin's Hengren with surprise and took it with both hands. Thank you. I didn't expect you to remember this. After taking it, she stared at the dry grass roots with a curious attitude and smelled it. Can I break off a little bit and taste it? Sure, he said with a smile. So Fang Meng carefully picked off a little bit with her hand and put it in her mouth and sipped it. The taste was slightly bitter. She sighed. I have never seen this kind of herb before, that's all I know. If you want to study it, you may have to visit Grandma He Qing and ask where the source of this herb is. Fang Meng nodded and smiled. It's good to know the material. Can I take a picture of this herb? It will be convenient for me to find it later. If I can find it smoothly and develop it into medicine like you just did, then we will have a lot of room for operation in the future. Of course, she happily took out her mobile phone to take pictures, as if she had found something precious. After taking the picture, she gave it back to Lin's Hengren and then looked at him again. After Lin's Hengren put it away, he saw her staring at him and asked, "What's wrong? Is there anything else?" Fang Meng blushed and thought that she could tell whether they were in love or not. Lin's Hengren started to tell her everything. Should she tell him the identity of the girl in white now? Or should she wait until the competition with He Qing is over and then give Lin's Hengren a surprise? Anyway, once we are together, she will be his, so she will tell him all her secrets after the competition. She said, I noticed before that Kyankian, Miss, He Qing, Lily, Wenwen, each of them calls you differently. Can I have a special way to call you? Lin's Hengren sat next to her. Do girls like this kind of thing? Fang Meng nodded quickly. It's very ceremonial, and it feels very intimate. Okay, what do you want to call me? My name has been basically broken down by you guys. You can't call me Linlin, right? Only the word Lin is not called by anyone. Fang Meng shook her head. Lin doesn't sound good, and I thought about it a long time ago. Lin's Hengren was surprised. Really? Tell me. Fang Meng plucked up a little courage and lightly touched Lin's Hengren's cheek with her lips. Dear, the two looked at each other and suddenly smiled. Lin's Hengren was relieved and Fang Meng was ashamed. What's wrong? Do you think it's not good? Too disgusting? Or too ordinary? In fact, Lin's Hengren always felt that Jingxi calling him Zhang was disgusting. Who knew that Fang Meng was even better? That's fine. You can call me whatever you like. Fang Meng was happy. She thought the more clingy the better. Then what did you call me? Meng. It was the first time Fang Meng heard someone call her like that. She was still shy. She nodded slightly. Okay. After a while, the two opened the bedroom door and came out of the room together. Fang Meng's parents were busy in the kitchen. When they heard their voices, they hurried out. Fang Meng's father asked hurriedly, Meng, why did you get up? Fang Meng's mother saw that her daughter's complexion had improved a lot, and was very surprised. Meng, you're okay. Chapter 435 Gathering. Fang Meng responded, my classmate Lin Hengren brought me some medicine for fever. I felt much better after taking it. I'm fine now. Fang Meng's mother looked at Lin Hengren. Ran, you also brought medicine. She suddenly remembered. Oh, I remember Meng said before that you also know medicine, right? Better than my Meng. Lin Hengren said politely. I know a little bit, but I can't say I'm better than Meng. Too modest. But you two are really destined to be together. You have the same hobbies. You are simply made in heaven. The husband coughed and thought that he should not make it too clear and should not push his daughter too hard. The mother thought so too. She just needed to start it herself. Fang Meng's cheeks were slightly red. She must have understood what her father coughed and her mother was speechless. She wanted to tell her parents that she was with him, but she felt that it would be a bit abrupt to say it directly. Lin Hengren has too many girlfriends now, and he has to say what he wants to say. It would definitely not be good for her to say it without permission. As a result, when these thoughts appeared, Lin Hengren actually said first, Uncle and Aunt, Meng and I have just been together, and now we are boyfriend and girlfriend. The old couple was surprised, and Fang Meng was surprised. They didn't expect Lin Hengren to say it so bluntly. The couple looked at each other, and Fang Meng also looked at Lin Hengren in surprise, while Lin Hengren smiled at Fang Meng. For girls, it is the most obvious way for boys to personally admit their relationship in front of friends or elders. The family immediately became lively. Fang Meng's mother urged, then let's eat here tonight. Meng, you sit with Ranran for a while, and Mom and Dad go to the kitchen to cook more dishes. Let's celebrate as a family, celebrate Meng's recovery, and celebrate that you two are in love. In fact, Fang Meng's mother had already prepared for Lin Hengren to eat here in the evening, but when she heard such good news, she had to add a few more hard dishes, such as fish every year and shrimps. It's a pity that Lin Hengren told He Qing and the others that he was going back tonight, so he definitely couldn't stay here for dinner. He couldn't break his promise. After some polite words, Lin Hengren said that he had something to do at home, so he had to go back to eat. Fang Meng's parents saw that the other party was really busy, so they didn't want to stay any longer. As long as their daughter's relationship was progressing, it was enough. When it comes to eating, the family can eat at any time. Lin Hengren, Uncle, Aunt, and Meng, it's almost time. I have to go. Fang Meng was reluctant, leaving so early. Fang Meng's father, yeah, it's only what time now? I've been here for an entire afternoon, and I really have something to do in the evening. He asked Fang Meng's parents. Also, Uncle and Aunt, I want Fang Meng to come to my house to play and have dinner tomorrow. Is that okay? Fang Meng's parents wouldn't have any objections, and said with a smile, yes, of course. Our two homes are not far from each other, and you are together again now, so what's the big deal? Fang Meng's mother urged her daughter. Then since Ranran is leaving, Meng, please see her off. No need, Auntie. Meng, just rest at home. Fang Meng, I'd better see her off. When going down the stairs to go home, Fang Meng followed behind Lin Hengren and saw her off. Lin Hengren said again, you just recovered from your illness, so you don't need to send me off. Just rest at home. Fang Meng shook her head, and she was so cute that she opened her arms like a penguin. I'm fine now. I feel very relaxed after taking the magical medicine. It's okay for me to send you off. Lin Hengren didn't say much. The spiritual energy pill can really cure the disease. Holding hands, they slowly walked downstairs. Lin's Hengren looked at Fang Meng. Then I'll leave? What time will you go tomorrow? Fang Meng returned to her usual serious standing posture, which was the cultivation of an assistant. But in this seriousness, her eyes were shy. The corners of her mouth always kept a smile. Is 8 o'clock in the morning okay? Too early. I might not be up at 8 o'clock. Not up yet. Fang Meng suddenly thought of the scene of Lin's Hengren sleeping with Miss Kyankian and others, and inexplicably felt a sour feeling in her stomach. Then 9 o'clock? You should be up at 9 o'clock. Lin's Hengren smiled and replied, okay, then 9 o'clock. Call me when you are about to arrive, and I will pick you up. He paused. I'm leaving. Bye. Lin's Hengren, bye. Just as he was about to turn around, Fang Meng suddenly grabbed Lin's Hengren's hand, walked quickly to his side, tiptoed and kissed him on the lips again. Lin's Hengren also responded by hugging her waist, and the two of them stayed downstairs for a long time. After a few minutes, Fang Meng finally waved her hand reluctantly. Bye. See you tomorrow, dear. Seeing Lin's Hengren really leave the gate of the community, Fang Meng stood there for a long time until he disappeared at the intersection and then murmured, he really likes to take a taxi. He is obviously a big boss, so he can just call the driver. She smiled, and love made her not bother to think about these details. She turned around happily and went home. Putting her hand on her lips, she recalled the warmth of these 2 times. That night when Lin's Hengren returned home, He Qing, Han Wenwen, Zhang Zuli, Zhang Jingxi, and Zhang Jin were watching TV and eating fruit on the sofa with Lin Xiaoli. Dad Lin Yingjin sat aside and looked like an outsider, mainly because there were too many daughters-in-law. There were so many girls in the family all of a sudden, and he, a big man, couldn't get a word in on many topics. When Lin Hengren came back, the whole family hurried to greet him. Asked Fang Meng what was going on, and asked openly and secretly what the relationship between Lin Hengren and Fang Meng was now. Little He Qing, how is Meng Meng? Not serious, right? Zhang Jin said coldly. Is it easy to cure? Lin Hengren answered one by one. You forgot that I know how to treat it. It's fine now. It's not serious. Everyone was relieved. Han Wenwen took Lin Hengren's arm and asked, Brothers Hengren, will Meng Meng come to eat with us tomorrow? The little fox seemed to be asking, but in fact, the address had changed. Lin Hengren touched the little fox's head. She's coming. This year, everyone will spend the new year together. The next morning, there was a knock on the door of the Lin family. Everyone knew who had come so early. Lin Xiaoli went to open the door, and the girls also walked over. Sure enough, it was Fang Meng who came in new clothes and dressed up. Fang Meng half bowed and greeted them in turn. Happy New Year, Uncle and Aunt. Sister Kyankian, Eldest Lady, Sister Wenwen, Sister Lily, Sister He Qing, Happy New Year. Everyone was stunned by her address. Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiaoli still didn't dare to interrupt. Zhang Zuli was speechless. What kind of address is this? Why do you have to mention sister? Little He Qing didn't understand either. Yes, why do you have to mention sister? We are the same age, right? Fang Meng looked dazed, and said as a matter of course, I am the last one to be with classmate Lin Hengren. Since we are sisters, then I am naturally the 6th sister, and you are my sisters, right? Zhang Jingxi couldn't help but burst out laughing. Xiao Meng is really cute today, Zhang Jin said coldly. It is true that the family's words book said so. Zhang Zuli blushed and put one hand on her waist to explain to Zhang Jin, but we don't distinguish between sisters, except for Sister Zhang. Everyone doesn't distinguish between sisters, otherwise it will be weird. Fang Meng felt so embarrassed. I don't know if that's the case. Han Wenwen took the initiative to take her arm and greeted her. Don't worry about these details, since we are all sisters. Come in quickly. Brothers Hengren is still changing clothes in the bedroom, and will be out soon. Chapter 436 Little Fireworks. Han Wenwen took Fang Meng to greet Lin Hengren. The family came to Lin Hengren's bedroom, where Lin Hengren was sitting by the bed putting on his socks. Han Wenwen reminded him, Brothers Hengren, Meng Meng is here. Lin Hengren looked up and saw Fang Meng, who was wearing a new dress and dressed up. The two looked at each other. He smiled at the beautiful Fang Meng and said, I just heard a knock on the door. Are you here? You look very beautiful today. Fang Meng blushed and nodded when she was praised. I am here. I will spend the new year with you today. At this time, Han Wenwen took the opportunity to trot over and said, Brothers Hengren, why are you putting on your socks by yourself? Wenwen will put them on for you. Seeing that the little fox was being attentive again, Lin Hengren said, No, I can do it myself. I'll do it. Wenwen will do it. Little He Qing also walked over and said, I'll help you too. Although they were all acquaintances, Feng Meng originally thought that it would be difficult to adapt to this family so quickly, but who knew that it would be much smoother than she thought. Needless to say, Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingxi, it can be said that the two sisters grew up with Feng Meng. So now the three of them are with Lin Zhengrun. In the morning, when the girls took off their shoes and played poker on the bed, the sisters were blessing Feng Meng. Zhang Jin's voice was cold, but her words were full of blessings. Xiao Meng, congratulations on being with Ranran. From now on, we will be sisters. Feng Meng smiled and nodded, thank you, Qianqian, but after saying thank you, she suddenly noticed a hint of jealousy on Zhang Jin's face. Zhang Jin stared at her sourly. But I never thought you would like Ranran before, Feng Meng grinned. Sure enough, Qianqian would be jealous because she was with Lin Zhengrun. Zhang Jingxi also said gently, Xiao Meng, we will be a family from now on. Qianqian and I will tell you something secretly someday. Feng Meng was curious, something? Zhang Jingxi smiled gently and replied, Zhang has many secrets, and these secrets are only known by girls like us. Feng Meng had always felt that Lin Zhengrun had too many secrets, and it seemed that they would never be fully discovered. Some would pop up from time to time. At this moment, she was aroused by Zhang Jingxi's words, and she became more interested. The two sisters welcomed it, and the three little ones also accepted Feng Meng very much. Little He Qing took the initiative and said curtly, Meng. Then we will live together in the future. You can tell everyone if you are unhappy in the future. We will discuss things together. Feng Meng responded, okay. Han Wenwen played cards with a smile. Although her tone was a little jealous, she said friendly, now all 6 girlfriends of Brother Zhengrun are here. Zhang Zuli reminded proudly, Meng, from now on, we will all be in the same bed. You must be united in the future. You are the last one. In the future, we must never let other girls join. Feng Meng nodded, okay. I will not let other girls get close to classmate Lin Zhengrun. Lin Zhengrun played cards and did not participate in the conversation. The girls believed that he would not find a 7th girlfriend, but they believed it. It was still impossible for other girls besides the 6 girls to get close to Lin Zhengrun. On the day of the new year, the family chatted at home, watched TV together, ate snacks, and made New Year's Eve dinner. On the night of New Year's Eve, everyone in the Lin family raised their glasses to celebrate the new year. After several years of development, large-scale fireworks are no longer allowed in big cities. There are also fewer people setting off fireworks in small towns. Although the Spring Festival Gala on TV is still broadcast as usual. But because of the night when Han Wenwen and Lin Zhengrun fell in love, the fireworks that night that year were particularly beautiful and dazzling. So if she doesn't set off something every year, the little fox feels something is wrong. So after happily eating the New Year's Eve dinner, Lin Zhengrun took the girls to the open space near the community. He bought some small fairy sticks and set off small fireworks by himself. Sparks like stars burst out from the small fireworks sticks. Although the girls have grown up physically, their hearts are really not much different from children under Lin Zhengrun's protection. Even Zhang Jingxi, who is more mature and has the temperament of a big sister, has a lot of fun playing with fireworks. Feng Meng joined this big family for the first time. Seeing that everyone was so happy and frank, she felt that Lin Zhengrun was really amazing to be able to manage so many capable girls. But after this happiness, there was another important thing she didn't consider tonight. That was the problem of sleeping. At night, everyone returned home from downstairs, talking and laughing. On the way, Feng Meng asked, how are we going to sleep at night? Isn't there enough room at Uncle and Aunt's house? Or are there other rooms? Zhang Jin replied, enough. Anyway, all of us sleep in one bed, one bedroom is enough. Everyone nodded. Feng Meng's face flushed. Ah. Do you all sleep together? Miss too. Zhang Jingxi nodded shyly. Since we are all decent women, this is nothing. Just get used to it. Get used to it. Feng Meng was stunned, whispering, but this is too exciting. Fortunately, Zhang Zuli raised a finger and explained embarrassedly, don't worry, we sleep alone, nothing will happen. We are separated from Zhengrun. There is no plot you imagine. Feng Meng blinked, half believing and half doubting. Really? Then why did Miss Qianqian suddenly blush? Zhang Zuli puzzled. Han Wenwen. Blushing, the 3 little ones turned their heads to look at Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin. Indeed, when they mentioned the incident, both of them suddenly blushed. Because of the night before Lin Zhengrun went to the south. No one knows what the 2 sisters did. Little He Qing was curious, really, Sister Jing and Kyankian, why are you two suddenly blushing? Zhang Jingshi and Zhang Jin didn't want to talk, the memories were vivid. In the end, it was Lin Zhengren who opened up and fooled them. Okay, you guys, what are you talking about? Meng Meng, we are just resting as usual at night, don't think too much. Lin Zhengren spoke. Feng Meng didn't say anything more. Lin Zhengren looked at the two sisters again and made peace for them. And you two, why are you blushing? The two sisters rarely united, their heads turned to one side, and said in unison, it's a little hot. He Qing interrupted, but it's winter now, and it's the new year. Han Wenwen looked at Lin Zhengren meaningfully with her fox eyes, biting her lips jealously. The little fox has seen too much and understands everything. So she almost immediately understood the reason. Brother Zhengren is playing more and more. If this continues, I dare not think about what will happen in the future. Lin Zhengren also saw Han Wenwen's little eyes, raised his head and tapped her head. What are you thinking about? What kind of eyes are you looking at me with? Han Wenwen snorted mischievously after being beaten, and covered her mouth with a sarcasm and whispered in a voice that only the other party could hear, it's all Wenwen's fault. It's all Wenwen's fault for not serving Brother Zhengren well. Don't blame Brother Zhengren for not having enough tricks. Lin Zhengren, he stared at Han Wenwen, and Han Wenwen became smiling again, biting her lower lip. I don't know what kind of ghost ideas popped up in her head. Chapter 437 An Ordinary Secret. After returning home and closing the bedroom door, Feng Meng saw that everyone was starting to change into pajamas. She whispered, I didn't bring pajamas. Lin Zhengren picked out a men's loose long-sleeved shirt from the closet. Wear mine. This long-sleeved shirt should look similar to pajamas on you. Feng Meng took it, stared at the shirt that smelled like someone for a while, and found that everyone was looking at her with envy. She continued to ask, just a top? Lin Zhengren looked through the closet. There are shorts, but it would be uncomfortable to sleep in shorts. This long-sleeved shirt is almost the same. The bottom should be similar to your little skirt. Feng Meng looked at the long sleeves and found that they were very big. Lin Zhengren was a little over 1.8 meters tall, and his top was considered a small dress for girls. So even if there was only a top, she blushed. It's okay. Just a top is okay. Since she was his girlfriend, Feng Meng would definitely not mind such a small thing. But Han Wenwen looked at the other person's long sleeves, and then at the fox pajamas in her own hand, which suddenly became boring. She threw the pajamas on the bedside table and raised her hand. Brother Zhengren, I want to wear long sleeves too. Lin Zhengren puzzled, don't you have pajamas? Han Wenwen bit her lip and walked over coquettishly. I want long sleeves. I want. Lin Zhengren then took another one lovingly. Here you go. The little fox immediately took it with a smile, stood on tiptoes and kissed him on the face. Thank you, Brother Zhengren. Love you. Zhang Zuli, who was putting on pajamas at the side, also resisted the action of, hey, fox, you are cheating again. Ren Mengmeng doesn't have pajamas, and you want more even though you have pajamas. Han Wenwen turned her head to look at Lily, continuing to smile without answering. Brother Zhengren is willing to give it to me. Zhang Zuli felt that she was not blind, but this made her want it too, so she hesitated and walked to Lin Zhengren, hiding the pajamas in her hand behind her back, and said proudly, Zing Zhengren, I forgot to wash my pajamas yesterday. Why don't you give me one too? Lin Zhengren didn't want to say more, and took another one. Here, for you. Zhang Zuli was so happy that she threw away the pajamas behind her and said proudly, thank you. Both of them got it, and then Xiao Heking, Zhang Jingshi and Zhang Jin looked at each other. How could they just wear their pajamas so honestly? They also threw away the pajamas in their hands. Walked over together. They spoke in unison. Lin Zhengren, long sleeves. Zhang Zheng, long sleeves. Ran. Long sleeves. Lin Zhengren said seriously, but I don't have long sleeves anymore. How can a boy like me have so many long sleeves? The three of them felt a little pitiful for some reason. Lin Zhengren couldn't stand them like this, so he picked out 3 short-sleeved shirts from the closet. How about short-sleeved shirts? The three of them nodded happily again. Step. Lin Zhengren gave one to each person, and everyone was happy. Soon everyone changed into new pajamas. After changing, the girls all smelled the smell of the tops in a very unified way, which was a smell that belonged to Lin Zhengren. It was more valuable than any pajamas. Lin Zhengren was too lazy to complain. Anyway, they were sleeping with him, and he didn't know what difference it would make to wear more of his own clothes. Since Feng Meng came for the first time today, everyone gave her a small privilege and let her sleep in Lin Zhengren's arms on one side. The others tried their best to get close to Lin Zhengren. Soon, 7 people were squeezed together in the quilt, and it was warm in the winter. Feng Meng blushed as she watched everyone. Some of them were holding their arms, some were leaning against their stomachs, and the eldest lady was holding Lin Suhengren's head. Shyly complained, "No wonder one bed can accommodate 7 people. Everyone really likes to stick to him. Just look at this sleeping scene. Honey, you are the happiest person in the world, right?" "Almost," Lin Suhengren said bluntly. Little He Qing was puzzled. "Dear," Lin Suhengren replied. "Dear is the way Meng Meng calls me, just like the individual titles of each of you," Little He Qing said. "I see." Feng Meng said nothing, just buried half of her face in Lin Suhengren's arms, shyly. "Lin Suhengren, it's okay, I turned off the lights. Did you want to go to the bathroom or something?" Everyone answered no. The lights turned off silently, and there was silence for 5 minutes in the dark bedroom. Zhang Zuli silently looked at the bright building next door and asked a question. "Suhengren, aren't we going to bed a little early tonight? Isn't it just after 9 o'clock? This is the Chinese New Year. Who goes to bed at 9 o'clock during the Chinese New Year?" "Lin Suhengren, it's a little early," Xiao Heqing said. "After all, we are at my uncle and aunt's house. We can't play too late. We can stay up a little late when we go back to the villa tomorrow," Han Wenwen said. "Then we can chat tonight," Zhang Jin said coldly. "What to chat about? Don't we chat every day? Is there any new topic?" Han Wenwen asked Feng Meng. "For example, Meng Meng, will you live with us after the Chinese New Year?" Feng Meng nodded, although it was dark and no one could see. "Well, of course we live together. But your lifestyle is indeed a little beyond my imagination. I will definitely have to adapt for a while, but I will work hard." Xiao Heqing smiled and said, "It's actually very simple. There are no special rules at home. Lin Suhengren is very good to everyone." Feng Meng smiled. Suddenly everyone was silent again, feeling that this was not an interesting topic. Feng Meng was too familiar with everyone after all, and it was easy to imagine life after living together. Until Zhang Jing she said, "I actually have a topic I want to talk about, that is the distribution of family affairs." Zhang Shang talked about this before, but didn't mention it later. The head of the family spoke. "That's because Meng Meng hadn't joined at that time. I think it's not good to distribute it in advance before everyone is gathered. Now we can talk about it." Everyone was shocked at this time. "Did you plan to let Meng Meng join at that time?" Lin Suhengren said as a matter of course. After all, the 5th and 6th were originally reserved for Qianqian and Meng Meng. The girls were silent, and only the little fox said, "I thought that Brother Suhengren didn't know that he liked Qianqian and Meng Meng at that time. Brother Suhengren is so bad." "Lin Suhengren, I really didn't know it at that time. In fact, I was the same as all of you. It was also a simple contact at the beginning, but I found that you were so good to me and unconditionally believed in me and stayed with me. I slowly fell in love with you." Everyone was moved when they heard it, thinking that you wouldn't like him so much. But in a trance, Feng Meng's eyes suddenly widened, and his mind was as clear as if an electric current flashed through it. Suddenly asked, "Wait, honey, what did you say? You said that you like us because we are nice to you, accompany you and believe in you." "Yes," Lin Suhengren said frankly. Zhang Jin asked coldly, "What's wrong, Meng Meng? What's wrong with this?" Feng Meng looked at Zhang Jin in surprise and said, "So, this is the answer that makes Lin Suhengren's heart beat, right? Is it such a simple thing? Is this the common point for everyone?" Zhang Jin seemed to have known it for a long time. "Oh, you said this. Indeed, I was also surprised when I knew about this. The common point we have been looking for turned out to be such a simple thing." Lin Suhengren emphasized, "It's not simple to say it's simple. It's difficult for a person to believe in another person unconditionally and without doubt, but all of you have done this. Since you believe in me, I will definitely protect you." Everyone smiled. The girls unconsciously took the initiative to get closer to him and get close to him. "Lin Suhengren, are you going to squeeze me to death?" Chapter 438 Clues. After the excitement, everyone officially started to talk about specific family responsibilities. The distribution of responsibilities was basically the same as what Lin Suhengren and Han Wenwen had discussed before in high school. Basically, everyone's strengths were brought into play. He Qing likes to stay at home, likes to cook and clean up, and has the genes of a good wife and a good mother, so Lin Suhengren decided that the management of household items, the rooms of the family, and the purchase of furniture would all be the responsibility of He Qing in the future. If other people want to buy furniture or buy anything at home, they must get the consent of little He Qing, and little He Qing doesn't need to take care of other things. In the future, everyone will only be responsible for one part at home, so that they won't be too tired. Everyone nodded in unison. Little He Qing then talked about Han Wenwen. Now Wenwen is Lin Sihengren's secretary, and the things she is responsible for at home are naturally similar to the position of a secretary. The little fox is very talented in things like clothing, makeup, and dressing up, and can remember them almost as soon as she sees them. So in the future, all kinds of dressing and undressing of the Lin family, especially the various dressing and undressing of Lin Sihengren, the pillar of the family, and the small things he uses in daily life, will undoubtedly be decided by Han Wenwen. Everyone had no objection after hearing this. No one is better than the little fox in this regard. Lily's words, due to her personality and work, in addition to participating in the show, everyone thinks that her duties at home are best for managing children. When the Lin family is prosperous in the future, Lily will be responsible for the education and training of the future heirs of the Lin family. Although this job seems to be something that anyone can do, but that is because He Qing has a gentle personality and is too doting on children, Han Wenwen is likely to lead children astray, Jiang Jin is too strict in this regard, and Jiang Jingxi is too gentle to children. Feng Meng's words are used to being an assistant, and it is easy to be rigid in many things, so in general, it is indeed the best for Lily to teach children specifically. After all, she speaks cutely and thinks smartly. She will praise when she should praise, be fierce when she should be fierce, and scold when she should scold. She dares to call Lin Sihengren a fool, so naturally there is no one in the world that she dares not say. Everyone agreed after hearing this. As for Jiang Jingxi and Jiang Jin, Jiang's Hang Group is the real top priority of the Lin family, so Jiang Jingxi does not need to arrange other work at home. She only needs to concentrate on managing the company's affairs, and she doesn't need to be responsible for the family affairs. Jiang Jin said during the discussion, "In the future, I will teach the children all kinds of skills. Cultivate their talents and specialties. I am very good at this." Everyone thinks it's okay. Lily will be responsible for educating the children's 3 views and rules, and Jiang Jin will be a tutor for the children in the future, taking a 2-pronged approach. Feng Meng's words are needless to say. She has been an assistant for so many years, and what she is best at is handling various things at home. Lin Sihengren said, Meng, you don't have to be responsible for anything like them. You should still follow your specialty and mainly serve as a housekeeper in the future. In the future, you will hire drivers and servants at home, and you will be responsible for managing them. Feng Meng nodded on the bed. Well, leave this to me. Among the 7 people, only Lin Sihengren did not arrange specific work. After all, he didn't need to discuss it all, because all the unsolvable things will definitely be handled by him in the end, and major decisions at home must be decided by Lin Sihengren to convince everyone. Everyone understands the value of the backbone. Without him, everyone would not become sisters. In this way, everyone's future responsibilities will be clear. After the new year, Xiao Heking's taekwondo competition was finally put on the agenda. Lin Sihengren took Xiao Heking to sign up for the provincial taekwondo competition. Everyone cheered for Xiao Heking, hoping that she could get a good result in the future. Feng Meng smiled secretly while cheering, looking forward to the next match. After the start of the new semester, Xiao Heking's competition date is getting closer and closer. Lin Sihengren has nothing else to do now, so he guides Xiao Heking to make more progress every day and strives to make her play more easily. Feng Meng and other sisters will come to watch for a while every day, bring some water or something. This day is Saturday morning. Xiao Heking is still practicing taekwondo with Lin Sihengren in a large compartment that was recently cleaned up in the yard as usual. Xiao Heking's leg skills are very fast, and Lin Sihengren taught her all the details with a foot target. He also taught her a leg method called 3 consecutive kicks in the air. The sound of legs and feet kicking the foot target kept ringing. Until the last 3 kick in the air was successfully kicked down, Lin Sihengren said happily, "Not bad, you learn very quickly." After Xiao Heking landed, her forehead was covered with hot sweat, her ponytail was swaying, and she said happily, "I practiced well, right? Yeah, great. This morning's training is almost done. Drink some water and take a break, okay?" The 2 walked to the rest area, and Lin Sihengren took a towel to wipe her sweat. Xiao Heking pursed her lips happily, and also picked up a towel to help Lin Sihengren wipe it. "But, Lin Sihengren, why do I feel so hot every time after training, but you don't sweat at all? Your face is still clean." She looked at the white and clean towel in her hand in confusion. Lin Sihengren smiled. "Do you believe me when I say I don't feel tired? He Qing blinked her pure almond eyes blankly, and then smiled foolishly and nodded. I believe it, because you have always been very good. The door of the temporary training ground was pushed open. Zhang Jingshi, wearing high heels and a women's suit, walked in. Zhang, Qing, have you finished training? Little He Qing smiled when she saw the visitor. Sister Zhang. You came back from the company so early today, Zhang Jingshi said gently. I came here because I have something to tell Zhang. Lin Zhangren looked at Zhang Jingshi, who came to his side. What's the matter? Zhang Jingshi said meaningfully. I have almost checked the things you asked me to check, and I have found the person. Oh? Found that person? Well, do you want to go and see? His current situation is really a bit unexpected. My people found him in a bridge hole. Little He Qing didn't understand what they were talking about. Lin Zhangren didn't say much, and said to little He Qing, Jingshi and I are going to meet someone in the afternoon. You can practice by yourself first. If I come back early, I will teach you. Little He Qing was very sensible. Okay. You can do something first. I can practice by myself now. Lin Zhangren touched her head and followed Zhang Jingshi out of the villa. The Rolls-Royce drove through the city until it reached a fairly high-end hotel. Lin Zhangren walked to the door of the room and knocked. Someone immediately opened the door. They were two bodyguards in suits who were in charge of the guarding. When they saw Lin Zhangren and Zhang Jingshi, they bowed and said, Boss Lin, Boss Zhang. Lin Zhangren nodded. Where is he? Soon, a middle-aged man in shabby clothes and macy hair stood up and walked over to the room. You are Boss Lin. So young. This man was none other than the factory owner who had taken the workers' money and left a mess to Lily's parents because of playing cards. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439, Eradication. Lin Zhangren entered the room, followed by Zhang Jingshi. Except for Lin Zhangren, Zhang Jingshi was not so gentle to other men. Although she had a smile on her face, she gave people a serious and noble feeling. She said to the middle-aged man, just sit down and answer whatever we ask you. The sloppy middle-aged man didn't dare to say much, just nodded. Okay. Soon the three of them sat on the sofa. Lin Zhangren asked the other party to tell him about his experiences during this period, especially the specific reasons why he ran away with the money. The middle-aged man looked at the bodyguard standing at the door, swallowed his saliva as if he had a psychological trauma, and stared at Lin Zhangren tremblingly. I can tell you my story, but can I tell you something first, Mr. Lin? I really didn't know that Mr. Zhang was your friend, and I didn't know that Zhang Group was actually your company. If I had known at the time, I would never dare to mess with you. I dare not mess with a boss like you. Lin Zhangren, you have investigated my affairs very clearly? The middle-aged man raised his hand to block him. No. I only heard about it later, and I didn't deliberately investigate anything. Lin Zhangren comforted him. Don't be afraid, as long as you tell me honestly what happened during this period, I won't do anything to you, okay? I'll tell you, I like to play cards, and I have this habit for a long time, but I play very small games, and I mostly play with the leaders under me. It's just a pastime. Making some money and losing some money doesn't affect my life. Who knew that one time a man named Wang Hai came? This man looked very kind, but he was actually a ruthless person. I was deceived by his appearance. After playing cards with him a few times, after we got to know each other, he brought people to set me up, and made me lose a large sum of money in a few days. He continued to recall, later, I owed money, and he asked me to take out a loan. I went to meet their boss, a man called Brother Yang. After borrowing the money, I wanted to play again. I didn't know what happened at the time, but I got addicted. I owed more and more. I could only take the contract money and the workers' money to pay him back. I originally wanted to sell the factory, but the factory has not made any money in the past few years and owes a lot of customers' money. It's better to just throw it away and run away. The man frowned and said, and it's not even fully paid off, and they beat me. I was lucky enough to sneak away later, and I haven't been hiding until now. Lin Zhangren hummed after listening, and the gambler had nothing to say. You should not be an exception, right? The middle-aged man nodded frantically. Yes, there are many people like me. Brother Yang specializes in doing these things with his group of brothers. It is said that he also opened a huge card room. Anyway, he is not a good person, Zhang Jingshi asked. Do you know the name of that person? It's Brother Yang. The man shook his head. I don't know this, but I know what he looks like. I have seen him twice. Zhang Jingshi took out her mobile phone and found a photo from it, and showed it to the other party. Is it him? The man nodded after looking at it. Yes, it's him. It's him. Zhang Jingshi looked at Lin Sehengren. It's Zhang Yang, the vice chairman of ZIAO Group. It seems that the company outside the province mentioned by Qianqian before did not start cleanly. Lin Sehengren did not speak. Zhang Jingshi asked the man again, then do you know this boss called Brother Yang? He also has a boss who should be a woman. Have you seen him? The middle-aged man was confused. I really don't know this. The one I have the most contact with is Brother Yang. Lin Sehengren raised his hand, indicating that Zhang Jingshi didn't need to ask. Before leaving, Lin Sehengren gave the other party a few thousand yuan as an inquiry fee. The other party was very grateful. However, for such a person, Lin Sehengren knew that no matter how much he gave him, it would be useless. After leaving the hotel, he sat in the back seat of the car with Zhang Jingshi, and the driver was waiting outside. Zhang Jingshi asked Lin Sehengren, how should we deal with it? They haven't offended us yet, but if it continues like this, I feel that there will be a conflict one day. Lin Sehengren put his arm around Zhang Jingshi's shoulders. The two leaned together. He said, Jingshi, do you know why I asked you to investigate this matter? Zhang Jingshi rested her head on Lin Sehengren's shoulder, raised her head and held his hand. Isn't it because the other party's project is the same as our company's? It's a huge competitor. Lin Sehengren stared at Zhang Jingshi's beautiful peach blossom eyes and confessed, no, I investigated him because the boss of Zhang Yang is none other than Meng Meng. Zhang Jingshi thought she had heard it wrong for a moment and was surprised. What? Soon Lin Sehengren briefly told the story of the white-haired girl. Zhang Jingshi was shocked after hearing this. Is this true? The white-haired girl, the girl who plays the piano only slightly worse than Qianqian, is Xiao Meng. Yes, it's Meng Meng. Although she has never performed in front of you, Meng Meng may know more than you think. Zhang Jingshi really didn't expect it and was shocked beyond words. Oh my god, you mean that Xiao Meng not only has many specialties, but also has opened such a large company outside the province with people in the past 2 years. This really surprised me, she murmured. If this is the case, it can also understand why the other company's operating direction is the same as ours, and even explain why ZIAO Group has not competed with us for business over the years and would avoid us when they see us. It turned out to be Xiao Meng. She looked at Lin Sehengren again, then Meng Meng. Does she know that her subordinates are doing these things? Lin Sehengren, of course she doesn't know. Meng Meng has to go to school and spends most of her time with us. I guess she only makes decisions on major decisions at the company, which is similar to what I usually do. That's why Zhang Yang can hide these things from Meng Meng. Will Meng Meng be in danger in this case? Zhang Seheng, what are you planning to do? Lin Sehengren hugged Zhang Jingshi, and they looked at each other, and she stopped talking. Because she saw Lin Sehengren's smile, of course, we will wipe them out. Time bombs like this cannot exist. The 6 of you are too important to me. I will not sit idly by and watch anything that is unfavorable to you. Zhang Jingshi nodded with a slightly red face. At the same time, Xiao He Qing had a simple lunch with Han Wenwen after Lin Sehengren left. They planned to rest for a while and continue training in the afternoon. After they were full, they took some nutritious meals from the restaurant and went to the doghouse in the yard to feed them. The little Tibetan Mastiff has been very honest since it moved into the yard, and it guards the door very seriously. Although it is not very close to the girls, every time Lin Sehengren comes home, the dog will wag its tail crazily to welcome him. Xiao He Qing fed him lunch, and the dog ate it with relish, and it smelled delicious. Little He Qing touched her head. What a good dog. It's really not noisy at all. Han Wenwen also looked at the puppy. It's a little too good, so good that it doesn't even have a sense of existence. As soon as the voice fell, He Qing felt that someone was standing at the door. She looked up and saw a beautiful white-haired girl standing there with a smile. He Qing, let's have a competition. He Qing wondered who this was. Han Wenwen also looked over, but she frowned inexplicably, thinking, isn't this Meng Meng? Why is she dressed like this suddenly? Han Wenwen, who is proficient in makeup, can easily identify the identity of the other person no matter how exquisite the makeup is. Chapter 440 Competition. He Qing and Han Wenwen stood up together and looked at the white-haired girl at the door. The puppy also took a look, moved its nose and realized it was the hostess. then continued to eat. At this time, little He Qing suddenly realized, could this beautiful girl with silver white hair be the girl that Lily and the others had mentioned before, who sang well, played the piano very well, and liked Lin's Hengren? It should be. This girl is really beautiful. The white-haired girl standing at the door was Fang Meng, and she repeated, He Qing, compete with me, I'll compete with you in what you are best at. Little He Qing looked at Fang Meng, and before the other party finished speaking, she clenched her fist and said seriously, okay. I'll compete with you. Fang Meng was surprised. Han Wenwen was also surprised, thinking that little He Qing agreed so straightforwardly. Could it be that she also recognized that this white-haired girl was Meng Meng? Unexpectedly, Xiao He Qing said immediately afterwards, although I don't know you, I have heard about you. You like Lin's Hengren, right? If I win the game today, I hope you will never like Lin's Hengren again, and stay away from him. Find new love. Han Wenwen. Xiao He Qing didn't recognize her. Fang Meng didn't dare to agree after hearing this, and responded, I can't agree to this. Why? Little He Qing was puzzled, and walked forward to question, you came to compete with me. Since it's a competition, you must have bargaining chips. You don't even dare to do this. Fang Meng was frightened by the other party's momentum, her eyes were bright, and she was impressed that the usually soft and sticky He Qing had such courage when facing her love rival, which really surprised her. She asked back, then let me ask you, He Qing, if I beat you, I will make you never contact Lin's Hengren and never like Lin's Hengren in this life. Can you agree to me? Little He Qing said without hesitation, of course not. I can't agree. Fang Meng blushed and retorted in confusion, then you are the same as me. Little He Qing said calmly, how can it be the same? I am Lin's Hengren's girlfriend now, and you are not. Our status is not equal, and I can't do without him, so I can't agree to you. Fang Meng, then what is the difference between who wins and who loses our competition? Little He Qing pointed at herself cutely and said, you ask me? But you came to challenge me today. Fang Meng thought it made sense. That's right, she coughed and said seriously, then let's do this. If I win, then I win. If you lose, then you lose. Whoever wins wins and whoever loses loses. Do you dare to compete? He Qing. Little He Qing nodded curtly and vigilantly, okay. Come on. Han Wenwen on the side suddenly didn't understand whether Xiao He Qing saw it or not. It doesn't seem like she saw it. If she didn't see it, then why did she play such a boring game with the other party? Of course, what others didn't know about Xiao He Qing at this moment was that she was really serious at the moment, very serious. Because the person standing in front of her was her love rival, this kind of provocative behavior, no matter whether the game had chips or not. As long as it was about Lin's Hengren, Xiao He Qing would be serious and would never let down her guard. Little He Qing, I will definitely beat you. Then you have to admit that I am better than you, no problem. The three of them went to the temporary training ground in the yard together. Xiao He Qing handed the other party a set of taekwondo uniforms. Please change into them, so as not to dirty your own clothes when we fight later. Your clothes are pretty, it will be bad if they get dirty. Fang Meng also subconsciously said thank you. After spending this period of time together, Fang Meng still likes Xiao He Qing very much. Han Wenwen, as the referee, sat next to her and watched the show. She took out a bag of chicken-flavored potato chips from somewhere and opened it, and happily put the potato chips into her mouth and ate them. Let me make it clear to you too, I don't know the rules of Taekwondo at all, and I will say who wins and who loses later. Xiao He Qing said seriously, it's okay, Wenwen, just say whatever you want. Don't worry about anything else. Han Wenwen smiled and raised her hand, don't worry, I will judge whoever fights well as the winner. I will be very fair. Fang Meng, who changed her clothes, originally, her purpose of this competition was to win the bet with Lin's Hengren, but now she is with him. Then the bet would be completely useless. Without the prize, Fang Meng couldn't be serious at all. But she found that Xiao He Qing was staring at her alertly and seriously. Fang Meng let out a long sigh of embarrassment. She slowly wrapped the belt around her. At this moment, Zhang Zuli had just finished filming the interview and went home. When she went to the villa and saw that no one was there, she found that there was a sound in the training ground. She pushed open the door of the training ground and looked at the white-haired girl in surprise. Why is this girl here? Han Wenwen, who was sitting next to her, saw Lily coming back and greeted her with a relaxed feeling. Lily is back? Want some potato chips? Chicken flavor, Zhang Zuli responded. Not a fox, what's going on? Why is this girl in our house? Han Wenwen blinked, What are you talking about? Isn't it normal for her to be in our house? What's normal? Lily retorted. She walked in front of Han Wenwen, but her eyes were fixed on the white-haired girl changing her clothes. She remembered that she had also come to compete with herself in the music competition last time. Could it be that she was going to challenge everyone in turn? Fox, tell me what happened, why she came, and why He Qing was confronting him. Han Wenwen ate potato chips and thought, if you want to know what happened, then I'll make it short. She just came to compete with Xiao Qing, and Xiao Qing agreed, that's it. Zhang Zuli looked at Han Wenwen in disbelief. It's the same as if you didn't say anything. Han Wenwen ate potato chips, because that's the fact. Zhang Zuli asked directly, what if this girl wins? What if He Qing loses? Han Wenwen answered honestly, not much. If Xiao Qing wins, then Xiao Qing wins, and if she loses, then she loses. Zhang Zuli. Han Wenwen looked at Zhang Zuli's contemptuous eyes looking at a fool, waved her hand and called Lily over. What's that look? Put your ear close and I'll tell you. Lily approached and didn't understand what she was going to say. As a result, Han Wenwen mumbled in her ear and explained who this girl was. Zhang Zuli was shocked when she heard this. What? Han Wenwen covered her mouth. Keep your voice down, you will affect the game. Zhang Zuli looked at the white-haired girl on the field in surprise. She really didn't think that this girl was Feng Meng. They didn't look alike at all. Although their heights and figures seemed to be similar, their hair colors and looks were obviously quite different. She gave Han Wenwen a look, indicating that she would not shout anymore, and Han Wenwen let go of her mouth. Zhang Zuli was puzzled. Is it true? How did you know? Chapter 441 Result. Han Wenwen said confidently, you have to know that I started studying makeup in elementary school, and started teaching people how to put on makeup to make money online at the age of 10. I already had a large number of fans before I got together with brothers Yangren in junior high school. No one is better than me at makeup. Zhang Zuli blinked blankly. Han Wenwen looked at Feng Meng at this moment. For example, look at her nose. The reason why you didn't realize that this was Meng Meng is because this girl's nose is more upturned than Meng Meng's, but this can be achieved with a makeup prosthesis. I don't know if you have seen the kind of facial plastic surgery on the internet. She used that kind. Zhang Zuli suddenly remembered that there was indeed such a makeup removal video, so that's how it is. Han Wenwen said again, then there are the eyes. Meng Meng's eyes are bigger, a bit like half phoenix eyes, while this girl's eyes are similar to Qianqian, with a kind of cold and beautiful eyes. Zhang Zuli asked, then how is this done? My understanding of makeup is to add eyeliner and trim eyebrows and so on. Han Wenwen snorted and joked, after all, brothers Yangren likes beautiful women. It's normal that everyone doesn't wear makeup and don't know much. If you want to turn half phoenix into cold and beautiful, if you don't want to use props, then, Han Wenwen pointed at her eyes, and in a short period of time, the little fox's double eyelids turned into single eyelids. After the pupils were partially hidden by the eyelids, the fox eyes seemed to have become more murderous. Zhang Zuli opened her eyes wide. Amazing. In a flash, Han Wenwen restored her double eyelids. I can only adjust single and double eyelids in a very short time, but the specific principles are similar. As long as someone can switch between single and double eyelids at any time, and match them with eyeliner and other factors, the whole person will look completely different. So Meng Meng has this ability. Well, it's actually not a very rare ability. Many girls on the internet can do it. Zhang Zuli suddenly winked. Why can't I do it? Have my eyelids changed? Han Wenwen, the little fox, sat next to Zhang Zuli and looked at the two people who were about to get ready. Zhang Zuli understood everything and suddenly felt that she could recognize it. It was indeed just necessary to imagine the other person's nose and eyes as Meng Meng's facial features. With white hair, this is completely Meng Meng herself. It turns out that Meng Meng sings so well, which is really surprising, although it is still a little worse than herself. Interesting, Zhang Zuli suddenly said. Then she suddenly raised her lips, opened her hands like a trumpet and shouted, come on, He Qing. You must win. He Qing in the field heard the voice and realized that Zhang Zuli had come. She waved her arms sweetly. Lily is back. I will win. After that, she looked at the other party vigilantly. Then Zhang Zuli shouted again, that white-haired girl, you also come on. Feng Meng stared at Zhang Zuli blankly, and replied a little okay, thinking that the atmosphere today was really strange. Why did it feel like no one except He Qing regarded herself as an enemy? When the game was about to start, Zhang Jin also came home and entered the temporary training ground. She also looked at the white-haired girl in surprise. Isn't this the girl who played the piano? The little fox and Zhang Zuli greeted Zhang Jin again, and told her the truth naturally. Jiang Jin was also stunned, surprised that the white-haired girl was Xiao Meng. Xiao Meng can actually play the piano. A new world was discovered. The three girls sat there honestly and watched the game. After the match started, He Qing attacked almost at the speed of light in an instant. A graceful and powerful side kick. But who knew that He Qing found something wrong with the first kick? Because the opponent's way of dodging was the same as Lin Sihengren taught her. Then Fang Meng also kicked the same way, but He Qing did not retreat but advanced. The two fought back and forth in a short time. Han Wenwen, Zhang Zuli and Jiang Jin, who were standing next to them, saw the confrontations and applauded. They exclaimed, "Awesome!" Zhang Zuli was curious, "Who can win?" Han Wenwen ate potato chips. "I don't understand, it's back and forth, but it should be Xiao Qing, right? Xiao Qing was taught by brothers Hengren, that makes sense." Zhang Zuli asked Jiang Jin, "Qianqian, what do you think?" Jiang Jin said coldly, "I don't understand, but I can see that Meng Meng seems to be under a lot of pressure, but Meng Meng has learned martial arts. I really don't know who can win." The legs and feet of the two women in taekwondo uniforms collided again and again on the field. Fang Meng gritted her teeth. She was shocked after every confrontation. Why was He Qing, who was usually well-behaved and lovely, so strong? Even a girl who had practiced taekwondo professionally should not have such leg strength. She had trained specifically to protect Qianqian, but her strength and speed were still not as good as hers. Especially her eyes. Fang Meng saw He Qing's stern, cautious and scary look. For the first time, she felt that little He Qing was so oppressive. It really put a lot of psychological pressure on her. However, what Fang Meng didn't know was that little He Qing was not only proficient in various confrontation techniques, but even this fierce expression was specially trained by someone. Once the game started, she would be like a second personality, He Boss, crushing the opponent with absolutely powerful strength. The game was extremely fierce. The more Fang Meng fought, the more she felt powerless. As the saying goes, there is no first in literature and no second in martial arts, and other events can follow closely. But this kind of physical confrontation, as long as the strength is a little worse, a 1% difference is also a qualitative difference. It's useless for her to imitate the opponent's fighting skills. Suddenly, Xiao Qing asked, "Are you hiding your strength? Or is this the limit of your strength?" Fang Meng was exhausted and panting. "What do you mean?" Xiao Qing was puzzled. "I don't know why. You actually know those competition methods that Lin Sihengren taught me, but you obviously lack training time, and you are just a show. It seems that you are only a little bit worse than me, but in fact, it takes a long time to train to achieve this. If your strength is only this much, I will beat you, and I won't be polite." Xiao Qing calmed down, then took a deep breath as if brewing something. Fang Meng was sweating profusely. It felt like something big was coming. Xiao Qing fixed her eyes and took a fighting stance, staring at the opponent. She took 2 steps forward slowly, until she was about to kick. Fang Meng thought that she would never be able to take this move. She squatted on the ground and hugged her head. "I lost, it's okay, He Qing." At the same time, Lin Sihengren and Jiang Jingshi also came back. When little He Qing heard someone's voice, her legs stopped in midair, and she looked towards the door softly. "Lin Sihengren, you're back." Fang Meng was so scared that she squatted on the ground, feeling the strong wind. Her face turned pale, and there were tears in her eyes. She said to herself, "He Qing, you are so scary." Chapter 442 Anger. When Lin Sihengren arrived, the 3 girls who were originally sitting and watching the game stood up. They greeted him warmly as if they were calling their names. "Brother Sihengren, Sihengren, you're back." Lin Sihengren nodded to everyone, and then looked at the white-haired girl who was squatting on the ground and admitting defeat and looking at him. Lin Sihengren walked over and said, "Did He Qing win this game?" Little He Qing paused, stood up again, smoothed her ponytail, and recalled just now, "Well, I should have won. I heard her admit defeat, right?" She also asked Fang Meng. Fang Meng slowly stood up and admitted the victory. "I lost." He Qing was too scary when she was serious. He couldn't beat her. She really couldn't beat her. Lin Sihengren rubbed He Qing's head and praised, "She's really good." Little He Qing smiled foolishly. Then he looked at Fang Meng again. "It seems that I won the bet we made at the beginning." Fang Meng blushed, thinking of the bet that time. "You won. According to what we said at that time, I can promise you anything." He walked over and held Fang Meng's hand. Others were not surprised, because everyone knew that the white-haired girl was Fang Meng. but little He Qing opened her eyes wide, and Fang Meng also opened her eyes wide. Lin's Hengren took her out. Come here, I want to tell you something. Fang Meng was flustered. She thought Lin's Hengren didn't know that she was Fang Meng, and emphasized, no. Why did you get close to me so soon? Why did you hold my hand? Lin's Hengren ignored her. What I want to say is very important. Come with me. He took Fang Meng away from the training ground. Little He Qing was panicked. Lin's Hengren, what's going on? She wanted to chase him out, but Han Wenwen came over to comfort her. Zio King, don't panic, don't panic. Little He Qing was anxious. Wenwen, did you see it? Lin's Hengren did it to that girl. Han Wenwen said something in little He Qing's ear. The originally anxious little He Qing suddenly became soft and cute. Huh? She is Meng Meng? Is it so magical? Outside the training ground, Zhang Jingshi also followed out. Fang Meng looked nervous and shy, as if she was being dragged away by force, but she seemed to be following willingly. She stammered, where are you taking me, Lin's Hengren? It's daytime, you should at least let me get ready, take a shower, I'm sweating. It was not until they arrived in front of the Rolls-Royce that Lin's Hengren let go of her hand and said seriously, Meng Meng, tell me how you met Zhang Yang. Fang Meng was dumbfounded when she heard it. What did you call me? How do you know I'm your Meng Meng? Lin's Hengren smiled and said, because we are boyfriend and girlfriend. How can people not recognize the person they like? Even if you put on makeup, I can recognize you. Fang Meng blushed terribly. Her heart was pounding, and she was stunned. Is that so? That means you knew it was me all along. Yeah, she said with shame on her face. Then why didn't you tell me? You seem to be addicted to acting, so I'll just let you play for a while. Fang Meng's face was smoking. She found that she really couldn't beat Lin's Hengren. Zhang Jingshi heard their conversation and smiled. Okay Meng Meng, tell me about that Zhang Yang matter. Fang Meng didn't expect that Zhang Jingshi also knew about it. Does that mean everyone knows about it? It was Lin's Hengren who told the young lady. It was so embarrassing. She didn't understand why the two asked about Zhang Yang, but she answered Lin's Hengren truthfully. Zhang Yang is the deputy general manager of my company. I also met him by chance. This person is very capable in socializing and has experience in managing subordinates. When I met him, he and his brothers were doing labor service work in a transportation station. At that time, I happened to pass by and saw him talking to his brothers about how to negotiate a contract. I thought what he said was pretty good. At that time, I was short of manpower, so I planned to let him have a try. As a result, he was unexpectedly very capable and listened to my orders, so I appointed him as deputy general manager, Zhang Jingshi. Then do you think this person is dangerous? Dangerous? Fang Meng shook her head. No, he is very obedient. Every time I say something, he will complete it very well. He never disobeys my orders. It was because of this that I gave him the power when I was in school. Zhang Jingshi was really surprised. He actually listens to you. Yeah, what's the matter? Why do you care about Zhang Yang? Lin's Hengren said, this man is not a good person. Without your knowledge, he took his men to open several underground card rooms with the money he earned, and used some illegal methods to earn funds. Lily's factory boss set a trap for him before. What? Fang Meng was surprised. He is actually doing this kind of thing. I have been with Jingshi for a while. Lin's Hengren was halfway through his words, and suddenly a spiritual energy flashed through his mind. He stopped talking, turned his head and looked somewhere, his palms clenched into fists, and there was a hint of murderous intent between his eyebrows. Fang Meng and Zhang Jingshi wondered why Lin's Hengren didn't say anything. Fang Meng, what's wrong, dear? Lin's Hengren showed anger. It's okay, Jingshi Meng Meng, close your eyes now. The two didn't understand what was going on, but they still looked at each other and closed their eyes obediently. Lin's Hengren reminded, I'm going to place next. Jingshi and Meng Meng will tell us in detail about our investigation in the past 2 days. You don't need to look for me. I'll be back soon. As soon as the voice fell, Lin's Hengren flew towards the outside of the province at the speed of light like a flash of lightning after the time stopped. The reason for this is that since Lin's Hengren broke through level 90, he has unlocked a spiritual energy detection skill. Although this world does not pose any danger to him and nothing can hurt him, He Qing, Han Wenwen and other women, as well as many people that Lin's Hengren cares about, are all ordinary people. Lin's Hengren must also ensure that these people will not be harmed, so he has opened the spiritual energy detection all day long. As long as there is danger to these people in all places within thousands of kilometers, the spiritual energy can give Lin's Hengren feedback in time to ensure that there is no risk. And the trace of spiritual energy that flew into Lin Zhengren's mind just now was in an underground location outside the province. Lin Zhengren felt that several people actually had the idea of killing He Qing, Han Wenwen, Zhang Jingxi and other women at the same time. There are people in this world who dare to attack people they care about. He frowned during the flight and was rarely angry. 1 minute ago, in an underground card room far away from the province, Zhang Yang, wearing a suit, looked at several photos in his hand. All these women have had contact with that Lin Zhengren? That's a lot, the subordinates asked. Boss, what should we do? Zhang Yang showed murderous intent on his face, and his fingers tightly grasped the photos. If he dares to disrespect the boss, I will let him know what the price of touching the boss is. Suddenly, thunder roared outside the window, and dark clouds gathered. The subordinates were all startled. What's going on? Such a loud thunder? Is it raining outside? A dark figure flashed by at almost the speed of light, and directly pressed Zhang Yang, who was still looking at the photos, against the wall. Chapter 443, 100-level Thunder Tribulation. He pressed the wall with such force that the surface of the wall was shattered and Zhang Yang's internal organs were damaged. A small mouthful of blood spurted out from the corner of his mouth. Lin Zhengren, who had traveled thousands of kilometers to come here, stared at Zhang Yang intently. This was the first time he had seen this man, but the spiritual energy had already told him that this man was dangerous. Several men in the room looked at the figure who suddenly appeared as if they had seen a ghost. In the eyes of ordinary people, he appeared completely out of thin air. Who are you? Where did you come from? Everyone stood up and subconsciously picked up weapons. Lin Zhengren didn't even turn his head. With his body as the center, an invisible spiritual energy was like a tidal wave. All the people in the room, including the sundries, were slammed against the wall and flew backwards. They could hardly make a sound of pain, and some even fainted on the spot. Lin Zhengren looked at Zhang Yang's painful but confused expression. What were you thinking just now? He asked the other party in a cold tone. Zhang Yang was held high up and stared at Lin Zhengren, holding his arm with his hand, frowning, blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. Who are you? Who are you? Lin Zhengren looked at the photos that fell to the ground, which were personal photos of He Qing, Han Wenwen and other women. Lin Zhengren slowly clenched his other hand into a fist and reminded, I originally planned to let the police deal with you in the next 2 days as long as you behaved yourself. I didn't expect you to really dare to hurt them. Zhang Yang's hand quietly touched his back, and a pistol appeared out of nowhere and pointed at Lin Zhengren's forehead. He said in a hoarse voice, let go. I asked you to let me go, but Lin Zhengren's expression remained unchanged. It was Zhang Yang who was holding the gun, and it seemed that he had the upper hand. But his palms trembled, and he gritted his teeth and pulled the trigger. You are looking for death. With a bang, the bullet was fired. In the burst of fire, the bullet did not hit Lin Zhengren. Instead, it was blocked by an invisible force when it was about to touch his forehead. The bullet was squeezed and deformed and stopped in midair, falling to the ground powerlessly. A pleasant metal bouncing sound was heard. Zhang Yang was terrified and couldn't imagine, how is this possible? Aren't you a human? Lin Zhengren had a blank expression and used his other hand to hit him in the face continuously, deforming his facial features and making him unable to speak. You will lie on the bed in the prison for the rest of your life. It will be quite comfortable. He pinched his neck and threw him to the wall on the other side like a chicken. Zhang Yang's back hit the wall with blood and flesh and slid to the ground. His eyes were full of fear, and he couldn't run away even if he wanted to. Lin Zhengren slowly picked up the photos of the women on the ground, carefully patted the dust on them with his hands, and put them in his pocket. He walked back to Zhang Yang, grabbed his collar and walked out of the office. The noise in the card room was so chaotic that no one knew what was happening in the room. After Lin Zhengren walked out of the room, he threw Zhang Yang, who was almost unconscious, to a table where people were playing cards. Everyone was shocked. Boss, what happened? Many people looked at Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren asked coldly, how many underground card rooms like this do you have? Who can tell me? Take me to all of them. The younger brothers looked at each other, and some rushed over directly. But how could they run into Lin Zhengren? As soon as they rushed over, Lin Zhengren appeared somewhere else and kicked several people away with a casual kick. The curious people in the field opened their eyes wide, completely unaware of what had just happened. Then countless screams came from the card room on the ground. Of course, Lin Zhengren would not kill them, but after a special lesson, he would casually transform a pill and crush it. Scatter it in the air. This is a memory pill, which can mess up people's memories and make people unable to remember specific events that happened during a certain period of time. In this way, they will not remember me, but the fear generated during this period will remain in their hearts. As long as they try to recall this memory, the fear of today will continue to emerge from their minds. Lin Zhengren was too lazy to ask specifically, lest they tell the truth. He directly fed one of his younger brothers the true heart pill, so that he could ensure that what he said was true. After questioning, Zhang Yang had 3 underground card rooms in 2 provinces, and the things he had done were far worse than he had imagined. Lin Zhengren asked his younger brothers to write down everything they had done, similar to confession. Later, within just half an hour, Lin Zhengren swept all 3 card rooms and tied up all his younger brothers with ropes. He also called the police at the 3 scenes and asked the police from all over the country to collect the performance. At 12 o'clock noon, he stood on the street in another province and watched with his own eyes as police cars drove through the street and returned with full loads. After handling it, "It's time to go back," he just turned around. The voice of the system came out, "You have successfully wiped out the strongest organization in the Endless Territory, and your spiritual energy level has increased by 1. Congratulations on your spiritual energy level successfully breaking through to level 100. As the first person to become a god in the spiritual energy continent, you have transcended the spiritual energy continent, and there is no way in this world to destroy you." You look at the thunder tribulation in the sky, knowing that this will be the last test or expulsion given to you by heaven and earth. If you can successfully pass it, you will ascend to a new realm, but if you cannot break through, the thunder tribulation will expel you from this world. Lin Zhengren, who was about to return, heard the words of the system, and he looked back at the sky. He saw that the sky was already covered with dark clouds. Countless thunder and lightning wandered in the black clouds, and those lightning and the spiritual energy emanating from Lin Zhengren were constantly colliding slightly. There really was a thunder tribulation. And Lin Zhengren faintly felt that there was something in the black cloud that was attracting and warning himself. He felt the horror of the pressure of the thunder tribulation, and knew that it would probably take several months to break through this thing, and it would be difficult to do it in a short time. Just wanted to move. But the surroundings suddenly turned pure white. This was the time-stopping space, which was activated by the heaven and earth. And a thunderbolt struck directly at Lin Zhengren's feet. A green tree was caught in a fire, as if the heaven and earth were warning the person who was going through the tribulation not to escape. "I didn't even give you time to say goodbye," Lin Zhengren said to himself, and another lightning bolt struck, which was bigger than the previous one, and a crack was split on the road. Lin Zhengren seemed to be able to see the future at this moment. He saw that if he moved again, the world would seem to produce tsunamis, earthquakes and strong winds due to the thunder tribulation, and the whole world would be stirred upside down until he was forced to go through the tribulation. He looked to a place thousands of miles away, looking at the girls in the time-stopping space. "I hope that during the time when I successfully pass the thunder tribulation, those girls will not be too anxious." He looked up at the sky and flew quickly towards the sky. He entered the lightning cloud. Several huge lightning bolts suddenly streaked across the sky, the dark clouds dispersed, and everything returned to silence. Lin Zhengren disappeared into the clouds. Chapter 444 Missing. The world became the same as usual. However, at the place where Lin Zhengren disappeared, a roadside tree caught fire out of thin air. There was a trace of lightning on the ground. The onlookers saw this scene and came over curiously, talking about this incredible spectacle, and taking pictures. In the northern villa, after Lin Zhengren asked Zhang Jingxi and Fang Meng to close their eyes, the 2 girls remained obedient and did not open their eyes. Until Han Wenwen, He Qing, Zhang Zuli and Zhang Jin walked out of the training ground. Han Wenwen asked curiously, "Sister Zhang, Meng, where's brother Zhengren? Zhang Zuli, where is Zhengren? Did he come out with you?" Zhang Jingxi and Fang Meng opened their eyes and looked at Lin Zhengren, who had disappeared in confusion. Zhang Jingxi, Zhang Zheng was here just now. She walked to the door and called out, "Zhang Zhen. Where are you?" Fang Meng said, "I just heard my dear say that he was going somewhere, and told us not to look for him. He would be back soon." Zhang Jingxi nodded in confusion. "I heard it too, but I didn't hear the sound of him leaving. He couldn't leave so quietly." Little He Qing blinked cutely. "What's going on? And Meng, why are you dressed like this? I didn't know it was you just now." Fang Meng smiled awkwardly. "This is a long story. I will explain it to you slowly." He looked at Zhang Jingxi. "Also, Miss, About Zhang Yang Jiang Jing, she glanced at Malu and turned around to answer, I'll tell you in detail, but you must never use this person again. He is not an ordinary person. That afternoon, the 6 girls gathered in the living room of the villa. Jiang Jingshi told Lin Suhengren everything about a recent investigation of Zhang Yang, and the girls were all surprised that this person was so bad. Feng Meng also realized that she was too careless and didn't even know that he had been secretly doing those illegal things. But at the same time, she also explained why she dyed her hair recently and the purpose of doing things with a white-haired girl. After listening, everyone could understand that the girls had shown their talents in order to get Lin Suhengren over the years. But what the 6 girls didn't expect was that from the afternoon to the evening, Lin Suhengren still didn't come back. It was past 6 o'clock in the evening. Xiao He Qing and Jiang Jingshi had already cooked the dishes and put them on the dining table. Even Han Wenwen and He Qing, who were the most greedy on weekdays, didn't want to pick up their chopsticks. Han Wenwen kept calling Lin Suhengren's cell phone, but it always showed that it was out of service area. What's going on? Where is Brother Suhengren? Jiang Zuli didn't understand, and shook her head and said, that idiot didn't reply to messages sent to him. Where is he? Isn't this worrying? Xiao Heqing had just finished calling Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiaoli. Uncle and aunt said that Lin Suhengren didn't go home either. Jiang Jingshi reported on the phone, even the company didn't show up. If Zhang showed up at the company, Pan Lin would tell me as soon as possible. Jiang Jin stood at the door and looked at the empty street. There was still no sign of someone coming back. He must have something urgent. Usually he doesn't reply to messages immediately. Wait a little longer, wait a little longer. The dishes on the table went from hot to cold, and then completely lost their appetite. The 6 girls sat quietly at the dining table waiting for someone to come back, but they stayed until after 9 o'clock in the evening. There was no change. Xiao Heqing finally couldn't sit still anymore. She stood up in a panic with tears in her eyes. Let's go look for him. I don't feel something is right. Although Lin Suhengren sometimes doesn't reply to messages, he is usually with one of us at that time. He has never completely disappeared like today. Everyone looked at Xiao Heqing and felt that there was no need to wait any longer, because they all felt that it was really strange. Usually, even if he had something to do or was not at home at night, Lin Suhengren, as the pillar of the family, would tell them whether he would come back tonight. This situation like today was really the first time. The girls discussed letting Jiang Jin stay at home to watch in case Lin Suhengren came back and couldn't find them. The other girls went out to look for him at the same time, and Jiang Jingshi also asked Pan Lin to bring some people to look for him. But the strange thing was that there was really no sign of Lin Suhengren anywhere. After a night without any results, Han Wenwen and Jiang Zuli went to the police station in the middle of the night to report the case. After knowing Lin Suhengren's identity, the police began to patrol the nearby surveillance. They had reason to suspect kidnapping or other dangers. After all, Lin Suhengren was young and valuable now, so the possibility of being in danger was much higher than that of normal people. But this led to another strange point, which was that the police found out after checking the surveillance. After Lin Suhengren left the villa yesterday afternoon, he suddenly disappeared at the corner. Yes, just after passing a corner where there was no hiding place, Lin Suhengren disappeared out of thin air in the surveillance. No trace. The women were stunned after seeing the surveillance. They thought, how could this be possible? How could a living person disappear from this world out of thin air? They couldn't believe it. The police station also thought it was strange, stepped up the investigation, and set up an investigation team to conduct a carpet search nearby, but nothing was found. 2 days later, Feng Meng received a call from the company. It was said that Zhang Yang and Zhang Yang's men had surrendered themselves in other provinces, and the time of surrender was exactly within half an hour of Lin Suhengren's disappearance. Feng Meng felt something was wrong almost immediately after receiving the call. How could it be such a coincidence? She told her doubts to the sisters. The ladies in the villa had no idea how many meetings they had in the past few days. They hardly slept in the past few days. Jiang Jin asked coldly, "What did you say? Do you think Zhang Yang's surrender has anything to do with Ranrun?" Meng Meng nodded. "Yes, don't you think it's strange? I just asked the police, and the police said that they had no injuries on their bodies when they surrendered, but they became very strange one by one. They said that they were asked to surrender, but they couldn't say anything when asked. I think this may be related to his disappearance." Jiang Jingshi frowned, but Zhang Yang was out of town that day, and Zhang Zhang disappeared in the villa. It's a whole province away. How could Zhang Zhang disappear in the villa and suddenly appear in another province? Are you saying that Zhang Zhang asked them to surrender? Han Wenwen said anxiously with red eyes. I think we can go to the police station to ask. Whether it is possible or not, we have to investigate anything that may be related to Brother Zhengren. What if there is a clue? Little He Qing saw that Han Wenwen was extremely nervous these days, and she was most concerned about the little fox Lin Zhengren. The day after Lin Zhengren disappeared, Han Wenwen was a little bit off and too nervous. Although Xiao He Qing was also extremely anxious, she knew that in this situation, if everyone panicked, something really bad would happen. So she held her hand and said, Wenwen, don't worry, she said to everyone, let's go check it out. I also think that no clues can be missed. After discussing, the women nodded and took a car to the police station outside the province to investigate the situation. Chapter 445 Meteor. Unfortunately, after arriving at the police station outside the province, Zhang Yang could not recognize Fang Meng, and just screamed in panic. Zhang Yang was scared to death when he saw Fang Meng, let alone asking anything. It was a wasted trip. The only clue was also broken. A week later, the girls and Lin Zhengren's parents were a little exhausted, and the effective information they got was almost zero. However, because the 6 girls had received too much blessing from Lin Zhengren in the past year, they were not easy to get sick even if they were weak. Except for Han Wenwen, although she was the most nourished, she was sick with longing. After a week, she was in bed with a low fever and kept repeating the 4 words Brother Zhengren in her mouth. After 15 days, the investigation gradually stagnated, and the police said that they had not found even a trace of clues. Lin Zhengren really seemed to have evaporated from the face of the earth, and there was no trace of him at all. Even the surveillance throughout the province, Zhang Jingshi used some connections to have people check it carefully, but still did not see any trace of Lin Zhengren. Half a month later, the police reported some possible results to the Lin family so that they could prepare in advance. A large number of people had already gathered in the villa. As Lin Zhengren had been missing recently, almost everyone who had a relationship with him knew about it. The girls checked all the places he might go and all the people he might know. During this process, Auntie, Zhang Zuli's parents, Zhang Jin, Zhang Jingshi's parents, and Fang Meng's parents all knew about the relationship between Lin Zhengren and the girls. Lin Xiaoli's eyes were red from crying these days while she sat in the villa. Lin Yingjin hugged his wife and looked at the exhausted people. It's been 15 days since Ranran disappeared, and she still hasn't been found. I will continue to look for her. As for you, he looked at the girls, I don't think it's good for you to keep going like this. Maybe you can do something of your own. There's no need to stop everything and look for Ranran. The first to speak was Xiao He Qing. She sat on the sofa with her head down and her hands together. She sniffed but didn't cry. Her eyes were wet and her voice was hoarse. I will continue to look for him. I don't believe that anything will happen to him. Lin Zhengren will not be in trouble, Zhang Zuli said. Me too. I will continue to look for him. Zhengren will not be in trouble. Zhang Jingshi and Zhang Jin glanced at their parents. Their eyes had told them that the 2 sisters would not give up. Lin Yingjin and the parents wanted to say something when they saw this scene, but they couldn't. In a sense, the disappearance of 15 days was a proof to everyone. It proved that no matter what, these 6 girls would not be shaken by any difficulties. Where's Wenwen? Lin Xiaoli suddenly asked in a low voice. How is she? Zhang Jin said coldly. She is still having repeated fevers. We have already seen the hospital. Meng has also seen her. It is just caused by emotions, and there is no other reason, Fang Meng said. It's just that most people would have died long ago in this situation, but Wenwen and the rest of us are in good health. She can still hold on, but I'm afraid that it will continue like this. A month later, the police's search efforts have obviously begun to weaken. And there is no way to continue to use too many police forces to investigate. It can only be a long-term search. The women still live in the villa, and they have no energy to eat and work every day. That evening, Xiao He Qing cooked nutritious porridge in the villa. Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingshi opened the door and entered the house. Xiao He Qing looked at Zhang Jin expectantly. Sister Jing and Kaianqian are back. In the end, the 2 sisters still shook their heads and had no clues. He Qing's little hope was shattered, and she served the porridge and went to the bedroom upstairs. Open the door. Han Wenwen sat on the bed with lifeless eyes, looking out the window. She saw Xiao He Qing come in and look at her, repeating the daily questions. How is your day? Any clues? Xiao He Qing walked over with a forced smile. Sooner or later, Wenwen, you didn't eat tonight. Eat something. Han Wenwen looked at Xiao Heqing, hesitant to speak. Suddenly, tears flowed from her usual charming fox eyes, and her eyes were bloodshot. Xiao Heqing's eyes also turned red when she saw her like this. Wenwen, don't be like this, he will come back. Didn't he say he would be back soon when he left that day? Why didn't I stay with Brother Zhengren that day? Where's Brother Zhengren? Late that night, Han Wenwen had a high fever again. But this time, she dreamed of something while she was sick. She dreamed that she turned into a little fox in the forest, wandering weakly and tiredly in the endless forest. It seemed that she was looking for something. Until she was so weak that she almost fell, a familiar figure hugged her to prevent her from falling and getting hurt. The gentle and strong figure gave people an incomparable sense of security. Wenwen, wait for me for a while, I will be back soon. You have to be good and don't hurt yourself like this. Han Wenwen opened her eyes in the dream but couldn't see the other person's face clearly, but she knew who it was. The fox claws wanted to catch but couldn't. Where are you? She tried to ask. Where are you? The figure in the dream touched her fox head. I am in a place that is difficult to describe. Although I want to run into the dreams of each of you, I really don't have that much mental energy. I can only come to your place first. After all, you are too worrying. I don't have much to say. After waking up, please tell He Qing, Lily, Jingxi, Jinjin, Meng Meng that you all have to wait for me to come back, especially you. Be good and eat well, don't worry about me. The dream stopped abruptly. Han Wenwen in the dream woke up and sat up suddenly. The other girls on the bed were woken up by Han Wenwen. One looked at her. Little He Qing also sat up. Wenwen? What's wrong? Han Wenwen, who had been thinking nothing, suddenly laughed. Brother Zhengren came to me in a dream. He said he would be back. Xiao Qing, did you dream of Brother Zhengren? He said he would be back soon, and asked us to take care of ourselves during the time he was away. The girls looked at each other. In fact, everyone knew how real the dream was. Because everyone's dreams during this period were almost all about Lin Zhengren, and there were all kinds of dreams. But the girls all sat up. Zhang Zuli said arrogantly, Stinky Fox, do you need to tell me? Zhengren will definitely come back. We are all waiting. Zhang Jingxi gently touched Han Wenwen's head. Wenwen, we all believe he will come back. Zhang Jin nodded. He is so powerful that nothing will happen to him. Little He Qing also clenched her fists. Lin Zhengren never lies to girls. Since he said before that he would take care of us for a lifetime, he will definitely keep his word. He won't lie to us. Everyone smiled and nodded, and Han Wenwen turned her head to look at the sky outside the window, pursing her lips. Brother Zhengren, I know that I didn't dream about you because I missed you too much. You came to see me in my dream. I will listen to you and wait for you at home. You have to come back early. Half a year has passed in the blink of an eye. The police's search for Lin Zhengren has almost stopped. The girls still haven't stopped investigating Lin Zhengren. Although there is still no clue compared to half a year ago, the girls have gradually started their normal lives, but they have added one more thing, collecting information about Lin Zhengren every day. They calmly and carefully investigate all the possibilities of Lin Zhengren's disappearance. They even suspect alien abductions. In the past 6 months, the elders have done ideological work for the girls more than once. Without exception. The 6 girls' loyalty to Lin Zhengren has not changed compared to half a year. As long as Lin Zhengren doesn't come back for one day, they will wait for him, no matter how long it takes. Today is Friday, and summer vacation will start the day after tomorrow. Han Wenwen walked into the Students' Union office of Tsinghua University with a large bag of snacks. Holding the bag of snacks, she smiled. Has everyone had lunch yet? Do you want to eat chicken-flavored potato chips together? Xiao Qing, do you want to eat with us? Xiao Heqing was writing some information and replied, wait a minute, I'll eat when I get home after I finish work. Han Wenwen pouted and walked to Xiao Heqing's side, watching her writing. How much is left? No, I'll feed you, almost. I'll finish it in about 10 minutes. We'll eat together after I finish. Han Wenwen said okay and said mischievously, then I'll eat a bag first. She took Xiao Heqing's arm and looked at Yang Qian and Feng Meng who were also busy in the office and asked, where's Lily? Feng Meng said, Lily went to the bathroom and will be back soon. But a program crew just contacted Lily. It seems she will be very busy this summer vacation. Han Wenwen opened a bag of potato chips. After all, Lily is a big singer now. She was cultivated by Brother Zhengren. No one can match her. When Lin Zhengren was mentioned, the expressions on everyone's faces seemed to change slightly. Han Wenwen was the same. She stood up and stopped harassing Xiao Heking. Instead, she walked to the window to look at the scenery. Relax. Blinking her fox eyes, she looked at the green campus. The blooming flowers and plants on the campus in summer were refreshing. Han Wenwen slowed down her movements while eating potato chips and said to herself, half a year has passed without me noticing. How long will it take before I can see you again? Brother Zhengren, Wenwen really misses you. Her fox eyes stared at a small green flower in the distance, missing every little thing she had with Lin Zhengren. Suddenly, she saw a white light flash across the sky. Han Wenwen thought she had seen it wrong and looked up at the sky. As a result, a white light really flew across the sky, and landed somewhere far away like a falling meteor. The little fox covered his mouth in surprise. Wow! What is that? A small meteor. It seems to have landed not far away. Jiang Jin came over. What meteor? Where is the meteor? Just now, Jiang Jin stared at the sky for a while, and half a minute later, where's it? Han Wenwen helplessly complained. Kyankian, it's been half a minute, how can you still see it? Meteors only last for a moment. Brother Zhengren took me and Xiao Heking and Lily to see them when we traveled before. Jiang Jin envied. Really? Ranran also took you to see meteors. Han Wenwen smiled. Really? I still have photos. Do you want to see them? She was about to see them. Feng Meng called Jiang Jin to write the information at this time. Now that Lin Zhengren disappeared, Jiang Jin was still very busy as the vice chairman. Han Wenwen had no choice but to look out the window again out of boredom. She fantasized in broad daylight. Meteor? Is there a possibility that Brother Zhengren is back? After all, the direction in which the meteor flew down seems to be home. If there's a strange sign in the sky, it must be. Han Wenwen stopped talking, her fox eyes were inexplicably moved, and she turned around. She put down the potato chips in her hand and left the students' union office. Little He Qing asked, Wenwen? Where are you going? Han Wenwen changed from 2 steps to 1, and her steps changed from walking to running, until she ran out of the campus. I'm going home. Little He Qing stopped writing and looked at Han Wenwen in confusion. Jiang Jin and Feng Meng also looked up at this time. The 3 girls looked at each other in confusion. 10 seconds later, the 3 of them also threw down their work and ran out of the office quickly. Who knew that they also ran into Jiang Zuli, who had just finished using the bathroom and was also running home. The 5 girls bumped into each other. Everyone looked at each other. Jiang Zuli asked them, where are you going? Running so fast, Jiang Jin said coldly, I suddenly want to go home. Feng Meng looked into the distance. Me too, I suddenly want to go home. Lily, what about you? Where are you going? Jiang Zuli was surprised and said while running, why do you have the same feeling? When I was in the bathroom, I saw the sky seem to flash, and I inexplicably felt that it might be a bit far-fetched, but I just failed. No one dared to say that he might be back until Xiao Heking said the name, Lin Zhengren. I feel that Lin Zhengren is back, Brother Zhengren. Han Wenwen's eyes were red. The girls' expressions all paused, they smiled at each other, obviously thinking the same thing. As they were running, a car drove over. It was Jiang Jingxi, and she lowered the window. How long will it take you guys to run? Get in the car, Xiao Heking said in surprise. Sister Jiang. Did you feel it too? Jiang Jingxi smiled and said, we are all sisters. With one mind, opening the car door, the 6 girls quickly got in the car. Jiang Zuli looked at the crowded car. Are we overloaded? Can this car seat 6? Jiang Jingxi drove the car quickly and said, anyway, I don't usually drive. I will go to the traffic police station to turn myself in later. The car left the school and drove quickly towards the villa. However, everyone's excited expressions became more and more nervous as they got home, and no one spoke along the way. They returned to the villa smoothly. Everyone got out of the car in a hurry, but saw that the door was still locked. Everyone felt like a basin of cold water was poured on their hearts. Jiang Zuli's voice became a little trembling. Do you want to open the door? Everyone looked at the locked door. I'll do it. Han Wenwen stepped forward and stretched out her hand to unlock it with her fingerprint, and the door opened. The girls trotted into the yard, but there was no one there, and then pushed the door into the living room. Their footsteps stopped at the door one after another. In the living room, a familiar figure was sitting on the sofa with a charger in his hand, about to plug it into the socket next to him. Is my phone still usable? If not, I'll buy a new one. I think it was damaged by lightning. After saying that, the boy was slightly stunned, and turned to look at the girls. Now that Lin Sehengren has finally broken through level 100, he can do almost anything he wants, and he can create things out of thin air with ease. However, the way is simple, and he still likes to live in an ordinary way and habit. You guys are back, he stood up and smiled. Sorry, for the past 6 months the 6 girls all had red eyes, and before he could finish speaking, they took steps with their own crying faces and ran towards Lin Sehengren at full speed. Lin Sehengren, brother Sehengren, run, Zheng, dear. Seeing everyone rushing towards him, Lin Sehengren opened his arms to protect them and said, be careful, don't fall. Carefully hugging them, Lin Sehengren looked at everyone crying loudly, and smiled and comforted them carefully. I'm sorry, I made you worry, he said gently. I'm back. End of book. Chapter 446, The Future. After Lin Sehengren came back, more than a year had passed. That was the 3rd year of college. Lin Sehengren made a ring for Fang Meng and proposed to her. At the same time, Lin Sehengren discovered that Meng Meng had a special hobby. That is, she liked to let him spank her a few times when they were intimate. It was only when the two of them went out to get a room to make love for the 3rd time that Fang Meng shyly said, honey, do you want to spank me? I don't mind if you spank me hard. Please spank me a few times quickly. Lin Sehengren sighed that he had never noticed that Meng Meng had such a hobby before. However, since she was his woman, Lin Sehengren would try his best to satisfy her in such a small matter. It was just that Meng Meng was a little addicted. Since the first spanking, she had to spank every time. Otherwise, Meng Meng would always say something was missing. Lin Sehengren could only spoil her. In the same year, Zhang Jingxi originally wanted to prepare for pregnancy secretly, but there was no protective measure. But she couldn't get pregnant with Lin Sehengren's child anyway. There must be nothing wrong with her body, because Lin Sehengren knew the physical conditions of all 6 women. Meng Meng is also a doctor, and Zhang Jingxi even secretly talked to Fang Meng about this. Meng, do you think there is any medicine that can make people pregnant easily? Fang Meng smiled when she heard it. Miss, where's such medicine? Those so-called medicines that promote pregnancy are just to nourish the body. In fact, they are of no help in pregnancy. But you are in good health and you can't take such medicine. Zhang Jingxi was puzzled after hearing it. What's going on? It's been a few years, Fang Meng whispered. Miss, do you want to be a mother? Zhang Jingxi blushed at the word mother, and covered her belly shyly and said, to be precise, I want to have a child with Zhang. Fang Meng saw Zhang Jingxi like this, and she also blushed, because she also wanted to give Lin Sehengren a child. A girl who really likes a boy will want to have a love crystallization with each other. More than 4 months later, Zhang Jingxi's belly finally moved. She was so happy, but in fact, Lin Sehengren's body was not able to produce children with other girls under normal circumstances. His body has surpassed the level of normal humans. If they don't deliberately suppress their realm, the bodies of the 6 women can't absorb the pure spiritual energy that Lin Sehengren emits at any time. This is also the reason why they can't get pregnant. However, Zhang Jingxi's intention to prepare for pregnancy is too obvious. After Lin Sehengren found out, he deliberately suppressed his cultivation. After such intimacy, he can produce offspring like ordinary people. Another year later, the university graduated. After the graduation ceremony, Lin Sehengren and the women began to prepare for the wedding project. The persistence of the 6 women when they disappeared before, and the help Lin Sehengren has given to all families over the years. Let the parents and elders of the 6 women know that these girls can't do without Lin Sehengren, and they are living happily now, even if they don't conform to some social rules. But they still hope that their daughters can be happy. The wedding was not held too big, and there were not too many guests. Lin Sehengren booked a venue, and everyone held it on the grass. The 6 women wore white wedding dresses, holding bouquets in their hands, standing in front of the huge flower arch, and officially entered the marriage hall with Lin Sehengren under the witness of the elders. Life after marriage seems to be more intimate than before marriage. The girls are too lazy to wear pajamas when they sleep. They are openly sticking to Lin Sehengren. 2 years later, Jiang's Han Group has grown to an unprecedented scale. After merging with Fang Meng's ZIAO Group, it is now well known throughout the country. And Lin Sehengren has completely become the boss behind the scenes. He will no longer show up unless it is an important matter. After all, he has too many things to do now and is fully responsible for the development of the 6 girls. He Qing's taekwondo has begun to move towards the Olympics. Han Wenwen has also appeared in professional competitions in recent years and won a league championship. As the only female professional player, She is also very popular among young people. Not to mention Lily, she has also been rising step by step in recent years, and has even gradually changed from a singer to referee of many programs. Her status in the music industry has risen sharply. In addition to career and family, He Qing, Zheng Jin and Meng Meng all gave birth to a child for Lin Zhenggren. They are all girls, and there are now 4 little girls in the family. When Zhang Zuli is not participating in the show, she is basically responsible for managing the children's moral character at home. Don't make trouble for me, you 4. Don't run around, I'm giving you face, right? I'm going to be angry. After the children learned to walk, this almost became her extra catchphrase. Zheng Jin was flipping through a book with a blank expression on her face. It's time for you guys to learn something. Artistic cells should be cultivated from a young age. Han Wenwen would also play with the children when she had nothing to do, but at the same time, the little fox was envious. She secretly bought pregnancy test sticks several times and went to Lin Zhenggren to cry, "Brother Zhenggren, why is there no movement in my stomach?" Lin Zhenggren would coax her every time, "Why are you in a hurry? You can't get pregnant with all 6 of you at the same time? How messy will the house be? We have to do it one by one." Han Wenwen buried her head in his arms and said coquettishly, "What's the mess? Can this be controlled? I want to give birth to little foxes for Brother Zhenggren." While she was acting coquettishly, Zhang Zuli heard it and whispered proudly, "I want to too." Han Wenwen looked back at Zhang Zuli, smiled and continued to act coquettishly on Lin Zhenggren. "That's right, Lily and I both want to give birth to a few for Brother Zhenggren." Lin Zhenggren looked at them and sighed. Another year later, Lily gave Lin Zhenggren a boy, and Han Wenwen gave birth to a pair of boys, twin brothers. The twins completely inherited their parents' looks. Not only were they handsome since childhood, but they also inherited a lot of Han Wenwen's charm. Every time they went out, they would fascinate many little girls of the same age. Lily's son was a little strange. He didn't inherit Lily's lively genes. Instead, he was cold and quiet. He would sit on the sofa with his arms folded across his chest and hum with a cold face. Since he was a child, he would say to his brothers and sisters in a cute voice, "You are so noisy. I am not like you. You are so childish." Zhang Zuli wanted to laugh when she saw it. She felt that her son was so well behaved. She hoped that he would not be at Sundeer in the future. At noon, Lin Zhenggren sat in the yard with the 6 girls to chat and enjoy the scenery. The 6 girls all leaned on Lin Zhenggren, and the children took a nap in the large room on the top floor, so as not to disturb the adults. He Qing said, "Lin Zhenggren, there is a question that we are very curious about recently." "What is the question?" "Just ask." The 6 girls looked at each other, and Han Wenwen asked flatteringly, "Brother Zhenggren, why are we not showing any signs of aging after 10 years? Zhang Zuli snorted proudly and said, "We all think it must be related to you, otherwise it doesn't make sense. People of the same age have aged, but we are over 30 years old and don't even have wrinkles at the corners of our eyes. We are still the same as when we were young." Lin Zhenggren smiled and looked at the 6 girls as if they were the same as when they first met. 10 years is enough to make most people look old. But they look exactly like they are 18 years old. And this state will probably continue for quite a long time in the future. Lin Zhenggren hugged the 6 girls and answered the question irrelevantly, "After we retire at the age of 60, let's buy an island and live on it. We can go out to buy things we need, and when we have nothing to do, we can relax and bask in the sun on the island. What do you think?" Everyone looked at each other and laughed. "Zheng Jing," she said gently, "Zhang really has a lot of secrets." Han Wenwen took Lin Zhenggren's arm, rested her head on his arm and looked at the sky. "Anyway, wherever Brother Zhenggren is, we will be there." He Qing, "But which island should we buy? I think we can have people build houses on it in advance." Zheng Jin raised her hand coldly. "I have a suggestion. I saw one before." End of extra. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.